Chapter 664. Facing such a scene, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not surprised at all. It must be the two bailiffs who came back yesterday who told others where they lived. They just needed to ask around and they would know where they lived. When the time came, they would leave someone to look after them and inform them in advance. The bailiff who was injured by the arrow yesterday was standing in the crowd with a pair of crutches. His leg was bandaged and he was holding the sleeve arrow with his hand. He was waiting to be sent back. This was not despicable, but he had no choice. He used to bully the people, but now he was bullied. When the county magistrate of Baoxing County saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he was stunned for a moment. He immediately brought people to greet them. Originally, he wanted to be polite, but he did not greet Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Instead, it was the two families behind them. The new county magistrate had not arrived yet, so he was still the county magistrate. He could still pretend to welcome his subordinates, but now he had no choice but to welcome them. The two children were wearing the second and third rank official robes. They were obviously using their ranks to pressure him. Greetings to the army general and Jinziguang Lu. I did not know that the two of you were coming, so I did not welcome you. Please forgive me. The county magistrate felt wronged. Wang Wan was a high-ranking official. She nodded and, County Magistrate Ma, you don't have to be so polite. I am here with Dr. Zhang today. Let's check. As they were talking, Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao took out the edict for people to check. They did not go in but stayed outside. It was good outside. The people were happy. They could see that they thought they were children from the pear garden. They did not expect that they were really high-ranking officials. Even the county magistrate was afraid of them. The people did not know what was going on. They looked at them curiously. What did such a high-ranking official do? The discussion became louder and louder. Most of them were guessing the identity of the two children. At the same time, they were gloating over County Magistrate Ma's misfortune. It was not right to expect bad luck from their parents. County Magistrate Ma had no choice but to ask the Deputy County Magistrate and the Registrar to come over. He ordered people to take out the documents that they were in charge of. The warehouse that they were in charge of also had to be opened for inspection. It was only a small part of the County Magistrate Ma. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand, and the people behind him went over to check the accounts. The abacus clicked loudly, and there were people going to and from the warehouse. They were not counting but sealing up the accounts that were matched. Also, the accounts that were handled by the registrar were also brought out separately. As for whether the total accounts could be matched, it was not up to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to decide. They had to settle their own accounts first. If the new county magistrate found something wrong during the handover, that was his problem. Wang Wan was not worried that the people in Baoxing County would not dare to refuse to give her anything once she received the stamp. While they were investigating, she completed the procedures with the deputy magistrate and became the new deputy magistrate of Baoxing County. Zhang Xiaobao, on the other hand, was waiting in case there was a mistake in the accounts. Wang Wan took the seal. Immediately, someone pulled open the curtain and wrapped it around her. When the curtain was removed, she changed from the original purple to a very light green. The big flower on her clothes was also gone. County Magistrate Ma heaved a sigh of relief. Finally, she did not wear purple. The pressure was too great. Although he could not afford to offend her now, he did not look so scared anymore. At this time, the people were not happy. Why did she change her clothes after taking over? The clothes now were obviously not as nice as before. Could it be that the grade was gone? That won't do. How am I supposed to deal with him? The voices were getting louder and louder. They were asking the maidservant to change back and not wear this. Wang Wan did not care about the color of her clothes. She was already a deputy district magistrate. She found a high place and took over a simple loudspeaker, which was a rolled-up loudspeaker. She shouted to the people around her, "Quiet down, everyone quiet down and listen to me." Her voice was not changed, but it was very loud. The people around heard her and stopped to see what the new deputy county magistrate was going to say. "My surname is Wang and my name is Wan. I am the new deputy county magistrate of Baoxing County. I would like to make a request and make a promise. I hope that everyone will believe in the future Baoxing County government office. I promise that I will work for the people and not be greedy. During my term, I will increase the income of the people working with the government office by 5 times. Because County Magistrate Ma has been overworked for many days, he has fallen ill. Therefore, from today onwards, all cases and matters will be taken over by this official. If anyone has a complaint or a matter to report, they can come to the yamen afternoon. Another thing. The spring plowing is coming, and there is a shortage of water in the fields. Those who are willing to pay to fix the wells can go to the government office for the record. Tomorrow, there will be a list of good deeds in front of the government office. Those who are on the list will receive a commendation banner from the government office. The wells that they fix will be engraved with their names. Wang Wan started her inaugural speech. This was the first time the commoners had seen such a novel thing. Looking at Wang Wan, let's not talk about her position as an official. Just looking at her made them feel comfortable. This lass was good-looking and much better than the previous deputy county magistrate. However, County Magistrate Ma was not sick. Why did she say that he was sick? Thinking about this, the people looked at County Magistrate Ma. County Magistrate Ma was also shocked. This maidservant was trying to seize power the moment she arrived? This was too tough. Even if your family is powerful, you can't do this. If I don't give in, can you kill me? Just when County Magistrate Ma was angry and did not know what to do, a guard sent by Gao Lisher came to him and whispered in his ear, "You are sick. I feel sorry for you. Cover your throat quickly. Otherwise your throat will be cut and blood will come out." General Gao doesn't want the construction of Buxin County to be hindered. The guard pointed up as he spoke. When County Magistrate Ma heard this, he looked at the hand gesture of the person next to him and immediately guessed who General Gao was. He sighed and put his hands on his chest. He felt sorry for him. He did not need to be reminded. He had done this kind of thing when he took money from merchants. He did not expect that it would happen to him today. As a result, the people saw a very strange scene. When the new deputy county magistrate said that the county magistrate was sick, the county magistrate fell back with his hands on his chest and was supported by someone. Some people were surprised that County Magistrate Ma was sick. Some people were happy that he was finally sick. Some people broke out in a cold sweat and looked at Wang Wan, who was standing at a high place, in disbelief. Such people could get gossip. For example, the owner of a restaurant and the local country gentleman knew that the eldest son of the Zhang family and the Wang family came to be an official. She was strong, very strong. But he never expected that she was so tough. She seized power as soon as she came and didn't leave any leeway. She was indeed a devil who killed countless people with a smile. The registrar heard and saw it. He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and did not feel cute anymore. He hesitated and gritted his teeth. He walked to Zhang Xiaobao and said, "Dr. Zhang, I suddenly remembered that there are a few small mistakes in the account book. I will go and point them out now." Zhang Xiaobao understood and smiled. "Don't worry about small mistakes. As long as the loss is not too much, when the Yamen's money is transferred back, the people will be happy. The imperial court will also not be willing to investigate. The imperial court does not want to hear about which official made a mistake every day. They want to hear about the development of the area, and whether the people are living a good life. Registrar Jiang, do you have a new place to go after you leave office?" Yes, not too much. It adds up to a little more than 200 strings of coins. How much? I will probably be transferred to other counties. If it is a lower or middle county, maybe I will be a registrar. If it is a upper county, I will probably be a registrar. Registrar Jiang was both grateful and worried. He did not want to deal with him, but he was also afraid that 200 strings of coins was too big a hole. Zhang Xiaobao was still smiling. Not much, only 200 strings of coins. It is only about 10,000 bushels of rice. It is enough for 1,000 people to eat for 4 months. With the grain bought with this money, we can hire people to repair the road. We can repair the entire county road. When he heard Zhang Xiaobao's calculation, Registrar Zhang's face turned pale. Without waiting for him to fall sick, Zhang Xiaobao said, "It is indeed not much. Look at my clothes. 263 strings of coins. Touch it. Is every layer very thin? 6 layers of Sichuan brocade. You can't tell, right? And this goldfish bag and the matching jade. It adds up to 700 strings of coins. This is because I did not want to spend too much money. I can't wear it normally. It is a waste. Registrar Jiang had hope in his heart. That's right. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family were so rich. They would not care about 200 strings of coins. He did not dare to touch Zhang Xiaobao's clothes. He nodded and shook his head. It looks good, but it is not much. That's right, it's not much. Wine and meat go to waste at the gates, but are there any frozen bones on the road? To me, 200 strings of coins is too little, but this money belongs to the yamen. It can be used to do things for the common people, so we have to make up for it. In the future, Baoxin County will probably become Shang County. Why don't you not go anywhere and stay in the county as an official? I have a new way of keeping accounts and checking accounts. You are in charge of teaching the local merchants. How about it? When the time comes, we will definitely be able to make up for this loss. Zhang Xiaobao had the intention to kill, but he understood that this money was not going to be taken by the registrar. Even if he took it, it would be a small amount. Killing him would be useless. Did he have to kill the chicken to scare the monkey? There was no need for that. He should give him another chance. Unless in the future he was found guilty of something. Registrar Jiang understood this time. Zhang Xiaobao was not letting him go immediately. He needed him to work for him. It would definitely be very tiring. After struggling in his heart, Registrar Jiang compromised and said, I think so too. But the appointment is a matter of the imperial court. I may not be demoted and stay in the county. You don't have to worry about the appointment. As long as you are willing to stay, you can stay. Go and tidy up the accounts and hand it over. Zhang Xiaobao instructed. It was easy to get the imperial court to appoint a registrar. He might not have other abilities, but it was easy for him to appoint an official. Registrar Jiang accepted his fate and immediately went to check the accounts. He did not doubt that Zhang Xiaobao would let him stay. Some people could reach the heavens. Wang Wan finished her passionate speech and began to wait for the merchants to send the money. This time, she did not intend to pay for the government affairs from her own hands. The merchants also heard it and were calculating whether it was worth it. At this moment, a shopkeeper from the Fengwu Pavilion came over and shouted from outside the crowd. The Fengwu Pavilion offers 500 strings of coins. We are willing to dig wells for the county. When this voice came out, everyone looked over. Some praised it while others scolded it for being stupid. Wang Wan saw that there were people supporting her, so she smiled and waved her hand. Come closer and write a contract. I will remember it. The Fengwu Pavilion, I rent a courtyard there. Not bad, it's a good place. Chapter 665. Under the lead of the Fengwu Pavilion, many businessmen with a bit of background came to donate money. They didn't think that a banner could bring any benefits to the shop. It was just an acknowledgement from the Baoxin County. What was the use of acknowledgement from a small place? What they cared about was Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's families. If it was another official who spoke like this, they could use methods to restrict them. For example, how much money they took out, how much tax they reduced, how much benefits the county government gave or colluded with each other to cheat others. However, it was absolutely impossible for these two children. If they didn't give money, they could immediately transfer money from their families. At that time, they would fall out with them. Wang Wan didn't care about what others thought. As long as they gave money, it was fine. While she watched the businessmen come over to press their fingerprints, she asked someone to find a geomancer to measure the underground water. It was very accurate. The underground water magnetic field would affect the compass. As long as the geomancer was skilled, it would be able to detect it. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao had also finished checking the accounts with Registrar Jiang. More than 200 strings of money had disappeared. Zhang Xiaobao took the seal and put his own seal on the document. He also said that Registrar Jiang didn't lack any money. If anything happened to Registrar Jiang, it wouldn't have anything to do with Registrar Jiang. It was considered that he had taken the responsibility for Registrar Jiang. Registrar Jiang, on the other hand, wrote an application for a demotion and sent it to the provincial government. Once Zhang Xiaobao was done with his work, he would teach him a new bookkeeping method so that he could use his actions to repay the 200 strings of coins. To be honest, Registrar Jiang felt a little wronged. He didn't get much of the money that he lacked. He only got a small portion. Furthermore, not all of the money was taken by him. Some of the previous registrars died, some were promoted. Even though the new registrar knew that the money was lacking, he still had to take it. The registrar was only a small portion. The majority of the money was still with the county magistrate. Registrar Zhang didn't know what to do with County Magistrate Ma when the new county magistrate came. Normally, County Magistrate Ma could be promoted, but it wasn't normal now. The two children came to seize power and check the accounts. If they wanted to achieve something, they would probably deal with County Magistrate Ma. In order to show his loyalty, Registrar Zhang moved closer to Zhang Xiaobao, who was giving the receipt to Wang Wan, and whispered, "Registrar Zhang, County Magistrate Ma should have been promoted this time. It is said that someone from the top is helping him. Shouldn't we reconsider in some aspects? I don't care. As long as the new county magistrate is willing to hand over the goods, I will settle this account with him. When handing over the goods, I will not check the warehouse. As long as there is money and goods in the account, I will let him use it." Zhang Xiaobao wrote down another person who was willing to donate 50 strings of coins to repair the well. He asked someone to put his fingerprint on the record and turned to Zhang Daobai. Zhang Daobai thought about it and advised, "If County Magistrate Ru Xian takes over, County Magistrate Ma will definitely protect the new county magistrate. At that time I may also be punished." "Oh, you're afraid of that? Who was above County Magistrate Ma? If he really dares to protect him, I don't believe that the emperor will protect him because he likes him. As long as it is reasonable, remember, we don't need to care about anyone in Buxin County. Tricks behind the scenes are useless against me." Zhang Xiaobao originally planned to play with the officials for a while, but it was because of the lack of water here. The people were already used to it. He had no choice. Since he and Wang Wan were here, they would definitely not allow the lack of water to continue. They would play after the spring plowing. Zhang Daobai really didn't know what Zhang Xiaobao's family said to him before he came. Was it because they were all protected? The problem was that he heard that Zhang Zhong was sent to the eastern capital Luoyang to be an official. If his family really wanted to protect him, why didn't they stay in the capital? The capital was a good place. Seeing that Zhang Xiaobao's words were arrogant enough, he could only flatter him. "Yes, Registrar Zhang, if you say so." Next, Zhang Xiaobao shouted at the businessman who came over. Immediately, another businessman said how much he would pay. Most people paid 100 strings of cash, while the least paid 10 strings of cash. It didn't seem like much, but it didn't cost much to dig a well. If the water was shallow, 10 strings of cash would be enough to cover the wear and tear of the tools and the stones used to surround the well. The people who worked would not ask for money. It was their own work. Who would ask for money? After a busy morning, the things that needed to be dealt with were basically done. In the afternoon, Wang Wan would sit in court to question the case. She had memorized all the laws and was ready to put them into practice. No matter what, the people in Buxin County would not treat the two children as officials. They felt that the two children were good-looking and were willing to look at them more. As long as it was not too big of a grievance, they would discuss and not complain to the yamen about the small conflicts between neighbors so as not to make things difficult for the two children. In this way, the conflicts that arose because of small matters in the county were resolved by the people themselves. It was very harmonious. Compared to Buxin County, which was still cold, Luzhou was so hot that he could not wear too many clothes. Some of the fishermen who went out to sea were even topless, letting the sea breeze blow and the scorching sun shine on them. Since the Zhang family and the Wang family's chambers of commerce stayed in the county, the lives of the people were getting better day by day. The new officials were very obedient and did things according to the methods left behind by Zhang Zhong. It was not that they did not want to show off, but they found that they really could not think of a better way to manage the county. The people only approved of Zhang Zhong's method. They tried to put up a notice, but the people did not agree, so they could only give up. In addition to the beautiful houses left behind by Zhang Zhong, and the land that could produce a lot of crops, the income of the officials was very high. When the officials went to the county, they would be given a piece of land to pay their salaries. The land left behind by Zhang Zhong was not bad. Even if the officials were not greedy, when their term was over, they could still save up thousands of strings of coins. Coupled with the large sum of money given by the local chamber of commerce, it was much better than taking the risk of corruption. Naturally, no one would bribe him during his term of office. The previous provincial governor had already left reluctantly. He took the more than 2,600 strings of coins he earned from the fields, the 10,000 strings of coins Luzhou's Chamber of Commerce gave him when he was sent off, and the 10,000 strings of coins written by the local people. He returned to the capital to report on his work. A better position was waiting for him. When the new provincial governor learned about this, he did the same as the previous person. In fact, there were not many things to do in the mansion. Most of them were done by the local officials. When the local officials completed their tasks, they were supported by the Chamber of Commerce. The most comforting thing for the officials was that there were no cases of theft or injury in the county. The people had joined the branches to do things together. Moreover, they had the feelings of being in the same boat when the disaster happened. Everything was negotiable. On this day, the weather was clear and there were no clouds in the sky. The new provincial governor of Luzhou, Zhang Pingwang, came out for a stroll with a small attendant. He did not even need a guard. Walking on the spacious street, he nodded at the people who greeted him. When he looked at the transportation team, he really could not find anything to do. "Master, are you leaving Luzhou next year?" "I really don't want to leave." His attendant had heard that someone was coming to take over. The term of the provincial governor of Luzhou was very short. Everyone wanted to squeeze in here and get enough political achievements so that they could continue to be promoted. "I guess so. You can only stay here for 2 years at most. Everyone is waiting for someone else to give up their position." When Zhang Zhong came, he didn't stay for long. Zhang Pingwang was also reluctant to leave. It was good here. There were not so many things to worry about. Usually, he would read in the study or sneak out to see the scenery when he did not have a holiday. He would chat with the teachers in the local academy. Other than that, he would go to the tourist spot on the mountain for 2 days. There were not many tourists there at the moment. Those who came were the children of the relatively rich in the surrounding provinces. According to the normal investment and output, the mountain was obviously a loss-making business. However, it was the county king's place. He did not care about losing money. The county king had other private businesses in the local area. The two of them walked forward and stood in front of a small stall selling cold drinks. The seller was squatting there and using chalk to write on a small blackboard, "Today's new arrival of coconut milk. Mark the price so that others will know." After he finished writing, the seller turned his head and saw the provincial governor. He immediately stood up and said with a smile, "Lord Zhang, aren't you busy? You can drink a bowl of cold coconut milk." As he spoke, the seller poured the milk. Zhang Pingwang did not leave. He found a seat at the side and sat down as he waited for the coconut milk to be served. 2 bowls of coconut milk were placed on the small table. The seller took some rock sugar and placed it at the side. He felt that it was not sweet enough and added more for himself. Zhang Pingwang picked up the bowl and took a sip. He nodded and praised, "It's delicious. It's refreshing from the outside to the inside. How's your business?" "Yes, I can sell quite a lot in a day. The people from other provinces are envious of me. They say that no one is causing trouble here. Haha, they should take a look at where they are. Luzhou, who's causing trouble here?" The seller raised his head and replied proudly. When he heard the seller's words, Zhang Pingwang sighed emotionally. Indeed, who would dare to cause trouble in Luzhou? This is no longer a land of exile. It's a paradise on earth. However, none of this had anything to do with him. It was all left behind by Zhang Zhong, who had left his post a long time ago. He was impressed. This was what it meant to be capable. He had no choice but to be impressed. If Zhang Zhong wanted to rebel, all he had to do was call for help in Luzhou, and the local people would respond. Zhang Pingwang, on the other hand, was only a passerby. He would stay in Luzhou for 2 years and return with his political achievements and wealth. The hearts of the people in Luzhou would always belong to Zhang Zhong. After Zhang Pingwang finished the coconut milk, he stood up and was about to leave when he said to the seller, "Do your job well. I'll visit the capital when the time comes. It's not bad there." "You're right, Provincial Governor Zhang. Indeed, I want to save up more money and visit the capital. After that, I'll give you some gifts. I haven't seen you for a few years. Back then, Provincial Governor Zhang gave me a hand. Otherwise, I would have been washed away by the water." the stall owner said happily with a yearning look on his face. Zhang Pingwang knew the provincial governor Zhang that the stall owner was talking about was not him. Perhaps the local people had never acknowledged another provincial governor. Zhang Zhong did not live his life in vain. Since when did the people in the place where he stayed miss him so much? The attendant did not say anything. He walked silently behind the master. As for the money for the cold drinks, he did not want to give it. Even if he took it out, the stall owner would not accept it. In all the places in Luzhou, the local officials did not have to pay for the food. It was said that it was a benefit. If the amount was small, the merchants would bear the cost. If the amount was large, the merchants would sign a contract and the people from the Chamber of Commerce would settle the bill. There was only one requirement, and that was to be a good official and not cause trouble for the people. If they caused trouble for the people, they would cause trouble for themselves. If they organized a few activities, they would be good officials. After walking for a while, Zhang Pingwang said to his attendant, "Let's go to the dock. There should be fishing boats coming back from the ocean. Let's see if there's anything new there." The attendant immediately went to find a carriage. In just a short while, a well-decorated carriage stopped beside Zhang Pingwang. The two of them got on the carriage and told each other to go to the dock. The coachman cracked the whip in the air and headed in the direction of the dock. The carriage was traveling on a spacious and flat road. There were green trees and flowers on both sides. In this season, when the curtain was lifted, one could see the big, red kapok flowers on the trees were blooming. It was just like the life of the people in Luzhou. Zhang Pingwang was bored. He opened a small window in front of the carriage and said to the coachman, "You're in a good mood. Do you pull a lot of people every day?" "As you said, Provincial Governor Zhang, it's really good. It's a pity that Provincial Governor Zhang didn't see the flowers blooming. He was the one who planted these kapok flowers. I don't know when he will have time to come and see the flowers, but he will also let us see him." The coachman looked at the big flowers on both sides and thought of Zhang Zhong. His heart was filled with longing, and his tears fell one drop after another. When Zhang Pingwang saw the coachman wiping his eyes turned red as well. He asked, "You're also a local?" "We're mountain people. We lived on the mountain. When Provincial Governor Zhang arrived, we were caught up in the great disaster. He asked us to settle down. He built houses for us, taught us how to read and write, and even gave us a place to give birth to our children. The children at home also went to school. The old people who were unwilling to stay at home were sent to the nursing home. Lord Zhang, do you know how Provincial Governor Zhang is now?" When the coachman was talking about what happened after they left the mountain, he suddenly wanted to ask Zhang Pingwang for some information. It's said that he became an official in Luoyang. His rank is quite high. Zhang Pingwang had just received the news. Since Luzhou was an official, he naturally paid attention to the affairs of the Zhang family and Wang family. He told the coachman about it. The coachman was delighted. That's right. Provincial Governor Zhang should be a high-ranking official. Zhang Pingwang thought for a moment and decided to tell the coachman, but the officials in Luoyang don't have much power. They can't compare to the capital. It's more or less the same as retirement there. The coachman stopped the carriage and turned to Zhang Pingwang. Why can't Provincial Governor Zhang be given power? Why should he be allowed to retire? No, Lord Zhang, get off the carriage first. I'll ask someone and enter the capital after I figure it out. Who put Provincial Governor Zhang in that position? No, I won't do it. As he spoke, he was about to chase Zhang Pingwang away. Zhang Pingwang hurriedly stopped him. Wait. I'm not done yet. You can't find a group of people to enter the capital. That will only harm Zhang Zhong. Listen to me. Zhang Zhong went to Luoyang willingly. No one chased him away. Otherwise, they would have arranged an official position for him in the capital. Zhang Zhong is the first person in Great Tang to casually choose an official position for himself. Wherever he wants to be an official, the imperial court will send him there. He's still too young and needs to experience many things. That's why he came to Luoyang. This place is no longer suitable for him. When he gets bored of Luoyang, he'll go to the capital. He's not like other officials. They have to put in a lot of effort to go somewhere, but they rarely succeed. Zhang Pingwang was jealous when he mentioned this. When others became officials, it was arranged by the higher-ups. He was able to come to Luzhou after many struggles. Zhang Zhong, on the other hand, had said in advance where he wanted to be an official. When the time came, no matter if there was anyone in the position, they would have to make way for him so that he could go there. He was not the only one. Even his children were the same. They went to Baoxing County to be the registrar and deputy district magistrate. It was said that the original request was that they could not be too far away from home, and could not go to a prosperous county. In the end they chose Baoxing County. How can they be officials like this? They have to follow their orders everywhere. Sigh. Zhang Pingwang was depressed, but the coachman was happy. He continued to move the carriage and said with a smile, "Really? That's more like it. I knew it. How can Provincial Governor Zhang be afraid of others? Yes, the imperial court is right. Let him be an official wherever he wants to be. If he thinks it's not fun anymore, he can change. In that case, Provincial Governor Zhang has nothing to do now. If I discuss with others, can I invite Provincial Governor Zhang over for a stroll? If I'm in a hurry, why don't I drive the carriage and bring my family to Luoyang? Where are his children, Xiaobao and Cuckoo? The two of them have grown up, right? They've grown up. They're a few years older. I heard that they've been fighting in Wing Province recently. They're fighting against Tubo. The two children are leading the army. They only have about 10,000 men, and they're fighting against Tubo's army of tens of thousands." Zhang Pingwang felt uncomfortable when he heard the coachman's words. What did he mean by the imperial court was right? Whose great Tang was great Tang? Whose great Tang was the imperial court? Was it wrong to not let Zhang Zhong go back and forth? Hence, he deliberately wanted to scare the coachman, who knew that the coachman would immediately say, "Tubo is finished." Did the two children kill many people? How do you know? Zhang Pingwang asked, puzzled. Is there a need to ask? Of course I know. The two children were in charge of this, and that when Luzhou was suffering from the disaster. They're amazing. Isn't a war about managing an army? Their family is rich. All they have to do is take out money and tell the Tubo people that if they betray them, they'll give them money. The Tubo people will obediently betray them, right? The coachman was not worried that the two children would be hurt on the battlefield. He had his own theory. At this moment, Zhang Pingwang's attendant laughed. How can it be what you think? The Tubo soldiers could not be bribed during the war. It was Wan who was powerful. She led 10,000 people and killed left and right. She killed so many that the Tubo army did not dare to advance. And where is your carriage going? Zhang Pingwang's attendant began to tell the coachman the news he heard. After more than 2 hours, he suddenly realized that they were going in the wrong direction. If they continued on this path, they would have to take a big detour. He stopped and asked, It's fine. You can continue. I just want to hear more. We've arrived a long time ago. You should get off the carriage. I'll tell someone else after I hear about it. I'll hurry up and take a detour so that we can see the scenery. Look, the flowers in the flower bed outside are so beautiful." The coachman blushed. His little scheme was exposed. He quickly explained. The attendant regretted it. If he had known this would happen, he would not have said so much. Now, he reckoned that they would have to wait until midnight. It would take a long time to get to the docks from the prefecture city. Moreover, they had to take a detour. Go on, don't stop. I'll change back and go through the intersection in front. There's no delay. There's really no delay. The coachman urged again. When Zhang Pingwang saw that they had taken a wrong turn, he nodded and gestured for the attendant to continue. The coachman was satisfied. He drove the carriage with his head bobbing as he listened to the story of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He was carefree and happy. When he heard something exciting, he would cheer. Before they reached the docks, the story was finished. The attendant was not a storyteller. He would only tell the general situation. He would only tell the details of what he knew. When the coachman heard that the story was finished, he paused and said, "Okay, how about this? I'll repeat the story. Listen carefully. If there's anything wrong, remember to correct me so that I can tell others. The young master and young lady are indeed not ordinary. One day, the imperial court sent troops to Tubo. They fought and fought, but the troops in front were beaten and ran away. What should they do? It's fine. The young lady brought people over. When they reached the place, The coachman combined what he heard with his own words. It was more vivid than the attendant's narration. Even so, the attendant was tortured. He dozed off in a daze and was woken up from time to ask questions. As expected, when the carriage arrived at the docks, the sky was already dark. Fortunately, it was safe here. Some people even used the refined fish oil to light lanterns. There was a light source at every distance. The docks were brightly lit. They were rich. The output of the sea was abundant. Ships of goods were shipped to other places, making Luzhou the most prosperous place. It was second only to the capital. The lives of the people near the sea were better. They did not have a sales channel, so they sent the goods to Luzhou and sold them to the Luzhou's Chamber of Commerce. Although the money they earned was not as much as the people of Luzhou, it was much better than before. This was especially true with the lighthouse built by Luzhou. Not only did it serve Luzhou, but it would also help those who came to the sea and belonged to the Tang Empire. For the people who came to the sea, a lighthouse was a home. They did not have to worry about the wind and waves or the dark. Lord Zhang, we're here. I won't charge you for the ride. The coachman leaned against the parking space at the docks and woke Zhang Pingwang up. Zhang Pingwang's attendant got off the carriage and opened the door. He rubbed his eyes and said, I haven't asked you to pay for the story, and you want to charge me for the ride? I'll remember you. I won't ride in your carriage next time. The coachman chuckled. All right, you can ride in anyone's carriage. Just tell me the story of Provincial Governor Zhang's family, and I'll listen. Let's go to the docks. Zhang Pingwang stopped his attendant who still wanted to retort and led the way to the docks. He agreed with the coachman's words. No matter which coachman he met, as long as he talked about Zhang Zhong, he would ask questions like the current coachman. After all, Zhang Zhong had helped with the disaster relief and built the place so well. The attendant followed behind helplessly. He even turned to glare at the coachman who tortured him to death. In response, the coachman smiled contentedly. The two of them walked one after another to the docks where the boats were. They were waiting for the team that would go fishing in the distance tomorrow morning. They were about to find a place to rest when a big boat rushed over from the sea. The lanterns illuminated the boat clearly. When it approached, they heard the people on the boat shouting in unison, "They're fighting! The natives on the island are fighting with our people. Mobilize the troops." Chapter 666. Auntie, don't worry. I'll get someone to take a look at your cow immediately. It can still work after its calf is chopped off. There's no need to kill it. Wang Wan had been handling all the cases in Baoxin County. She arrested those that needed to be arrested, released those that needed to be released, and educated those that needed to be educated. She did not have much to do with the commoners, but she did collect a lot of evidence of County Magistrate Ma's crimes. He had forced people to give him money, owed a bill at a restaurant, and refused to pay up. In any case, there were no major crimes that resulted in someone's death. Wang Wan was not in a hurry to arrest County Magistrate Ma immediately. She did not have the authority to do so. She needed to send a document to the manor first. However, considering that County Magistrate Ma should have someone to take care of him in the prefecture, she first gathered the evidence of his crimes. She and Zhang Xiaobao wrote a memorial and sent it to Luoyang, preparing to use it when the time came. For a while, there were fewer matters in the yamen. As long as the criminals were not beheaded, Wang Wan ordered people to watch them dig wells and reform them through labor. They could not just be locked up and eat for free. The bailiffs were also disciplined. In the past, those who had committed major crimes were also sent to dig wells and were stripped of their positions as bailiffs. Those who had committed minor crimes had to compensate the victims. Wang Wan told the bailiffs that if they made any more mistakes, it would not be as simple as locking them up, nor would it be as easy as stripping them of their positions. They had to do as they saw fit. The bailiffs were all well behaved. In the end, only 3 bailiffs were left in the yamen. They did not have to occasionally help catch pigs or chickens like the bailiffs of Sanshui County. The main reason was that the commoners of Baoxin County were not used to having the yamen help with work. In the past, the commoners resolved all the problems between the neighbors themselves so as not to tire out the cute little girl Cuckoo. Today, an old woman in her 50s came to the yamen. After beating the drum, She came in and told Wang Wan that she had come because she had no other choice. She was not deliberately looking for trouble. The calf at home had been chopped off and could not work. Wang Wan asked someone to bring a stool for the old man to sit on. She didn't stay on the stool. She moved a small stool and sat in front of the old man. She held his hand and comforted him. Hearing Wang Wan's words, the old man also touched Wang Wan's small hand and said, "Child, do you really not need to kill my family's cow? You don't need to pay compensation?" "There's no need, Auntie. It's just a split leg. It's not completely broken. There's a doctor with me. He'll take a look at it. He'll be fine after a few days of rest." "Auntie, are you worried that there won't be any cows to plow the fields?" Wang Wan was very serious about this matter. She knew that something that she didn't care about was a big deal for the people. If it was done well, the whole family could live a normal life. If it wasn't done well, they might be even more poor. "Yes, or do you know that there is only one cow in the house? Without it to work, how can we plow the land? My old man died in the army, and my son is sick. There's only me, my daughter-in-law, and a 12-year-old daughter at home. We can't survive." The old woman began to cry as she spoke. She looked very sad. Wang Wan also took a deep breath and said, "Auntie, don't worry. The cows can't plow the land right away. I'll find someone to do it for you. Ching-er, come here. Later, go to the well-digging place and find 2 criminals. Go to Auntie's house and help her plow the land. If they can't plow the land well, use the whip to hit them. When they're done plow the land, they can go and dig the well. If other people's land is done but Auntie's land is not, then I'll stuff them into the well." Ching-er was a yamen runner. He knew that the new deputy county magistrate shouldn't do this, but he didn't object. He couldn't do anything about it. The young man had a powerful backer. He agreed and ran out, ready to find the people he despised the most. This was a private revenge. The old woman was happy this time. She touched Wang Wan's hand and said, "Child, you're a good child. It's a pity that I don't have a grandson. Otherwise, I'll definitely let him marry you." After saying this, the old woman realized that even if she had a grandson, he wouldn't be good enough for Cuckoo. Cuckoo was out of her league, not to mention that she had a registrar. Looking at the 2 children, she knew that they were a couple. She quickly changed her words and said, "My granddaughter has nothing to do. Why don't I send her to the yamen to help you? Although my granddaughter is only 12 years old, she can do any work. She can do washing clothes, cooking, and raising. People in the neighborhood always praise her." How could Wang Wan agree? Now the food at home was cooked by Zhang Xiaobao. She didn't think that the daughter of an aunt could cook better than Zhang Xiaobao. As for washing clothes, she had already built a small river nearby. The washing machine was installed. Who would wash clothes by hand? What's more, it was not easy for an aunt. There were 4 people in the family, and one of them was sick and couldn't work. 3 women supported a family. It was difficult to think about it. Even if there were always people who said that women were strong, it was not as useful as having more men in the family. She shook her head and refused, "Aunt, I have enough people here. When the spring plowing is over, I'll ask Xiaobao to think of a way to provide more income for your family. You can't live like this." "Okay, good child. Now my granddaughter can do things. Why don't you wash clothes for the yamen? There are old grains in the yamen. Just give some." The old woman was really afraid. She was worried that Wang Wan would forget, so she asked Wang Wan to arrange something for her to do. Wang Wan thought for a while and agreed, "Okay, Aunt. Tomorrow I'll ask my sister to come over and do things. You won't lose out. I'll find another doctor to treat Uncle. If he can be cured, then he can be cured. But the money for the medicine will have to be slowly paid back when Uncle can work." "Okay, then I'll go back now and cook for the people who come to help." The old woman was relieved. She touched her chest and prepared to leave. "And you don't have to cook for them. You can cook for yourself. Their food is taken care of by the yamen. And is there no food at home? Don't pawn things. Take some back from the yamen first. I'll think of a way." Wang Wan knew what was going on. The aunt wanted to pawn things to exchange for food. Her chest was bulging. She must have put something that could be pawned. She quickly stopped her. The yamen runner next to her was sensible and immediately went to get the food. Soon, a small wooden basin of food was brought over. It was about 5 kilograms, enough for the family of 4 to eat for a few days. The old woman quickly waved her hand. There are too many children. Half is enough to eat for half a month. Dig some wild vegetables and mix it in. It's delicious. And don't say anymore. Go and get some salt and oil. Wang didn't want to see this kind of thing. After ordering the yamen runner to get the things, she shouted to the back of the hall. Xiaobao, come out. Think of a way. Zhang Xiaobao came out from the back. He heard everything just now, but it wasn't his fault. The two of them had just taken office and didn't have time to do anything. The future arrangements were still being prepared. There had to be some time. How could they solve all the problems as soon as they arrived? Otherwise, they would really become immortals. Aya, you can help one family. Can you take care of all the families now? Zhang Xiaobao meant to put it aside for now. Help one family means help one family. Quickly say a way. Okay, let's think of a way. And, since you don't have anything to do, let your daughter-in-law plow the land. Your granddaughter will come to the yamen. As for you, you can help with the publicity. How about it? I'll give you 5 copper coins a day. You'll be responsible for carrying a kettle and chatting with people. But you can't chat with all the families. You can walk around the streets and chat with people, you know. Seeing that Wang was urging him, Zhang Xiaobao had to come up with a way first. The old woman didn't understand. You'll give me money for gossiping? No, isn't this giving me benefits for free? I have hands and feet. I can't take benefits for free. It's useful, it's very useful. If what you're talking about is the same as what we said, just tell the others that after the spring plowing, the county needs to occupy a very good place, especially next to the main road. Let everyone be prepared. When the time comes to move, the county will give you money. You can think of a place to build a new house. Building a house requires wood, and we can't be short of manpower. Have a plan in advance. Don't wait for the yamen to forcefully demolish the house. I'll draw a place for you. In such a place, all the residents around will have to leave. Those who are living now will be compensated by the yamen. At the very least, it will be enough to build a better house. If anyone doesn't give up the place, the yamen will forcefully pull them out and destroy the house. We don't want to go to that step. Also, those who voluntarily move out will be given new jobs by the yamen. The kind that can make money. Zhang Xiaobao was ready to carry out the next step of his plan. If he needed to let the people move out, he could use administrative means to solve it directly. There were no holdouts at the moment. The people were honest, but there were some people who were attached to their homes and needed someone to persuade them in advance. Of course, the compensation would be great. It was impossible to let them demolish the old house and find that the compensation was not enough to build a new house. The old woman was not too stupid. After hearing Zhang Xiaobao's words, she nodded and agreed. I understand. Actually, I don't need to say anything. Once you two show up, everyone is willing to help you. I'll go back and find someone to talk to, especially the old man and old woman. Once you talk to them, they will be willing to move. 5 copper coins a day, isn't that too much? It's not much. Auntie, you have to know that the things you do are also very difficult. Persuading people is the most difficult. That's it. 5 copper coins a day. Zhang Xiaobao set the price and smiled as he and Wang sent the old woman out of the yamen. After the old woman walked away, Wang looked back at Zhang Xiaobao. She smiled sweetly and said, Xiaobao, you're really not ordinary. When I asked you to give me an idea, you didn't even have to wait. You just opened your mouth and said it. I agree with you pursuing me now. Thank you. I'm very honored. What else could Zhang Xiaobao say? He looked at Wang carefully. She's still a little girl. What's there to pursue? Little young master, little miss, this is bad. Something big has happened. There's news from Luzhou. I've been looking around. Someone has just delivered it from Luoyang. Master said it's extremely urgent. Look at this letter. There are 3 chicken feathers stuck on it. Wang and Zhang Xiaobao were just about to have a heart-to-heart talk when Erniu rushed in with the letter in his hand and shouted loudly. Wang took the letter and read it from top to bottom. Then she said to Zhang Xiaobao, the locals of Luzon have joined forces to attack our people. What do you think? Zhang Xiaobao did not read the letter. He could roughly guess what was going on from Wang Wan's words. He considered it for a moment before he said, The people there know how to join forces? Is it written in the letter that our people repelled their attacks a few times, but more of them joined forces? Yes, it's written like this. In the end, our people pulled back the defensive line and stabilized the place. However, the locals no longer helped us. Lu Zhou wants to send troops to suppress them. He asked us what we should do. Wang Wan waved the letter in her hand and nodded in agreement. How do you think this happened? Could it be that the local people were really so united? Or are the things we gave them not good enough? Zhang Xiaobao stood at the entrance and looked up at the sky. Wang Wan blinked. I don't think this matter is as simple as it seems. Is there a merchant from Great Tang behind this? No merchant would dare to do this. The coastal area is our world. Even if he chased the others away, he won't be able to bring back the goods. If he's the only one who can trade with others, what do you think everyone will think? Has he forgotten my family's ruthless methods? Zhang Xiaobao did not believe that the Zhujiang merchants were stirring up trouble. They would not be able to do so even if they were given the courage. Then what's going on? I don't think they can be united without someone commanding them from behind. Wang Wan was good at war, but she was not good at this kind of invisible conspiracy. She would only be able to make a judgment if she was given more information. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and said, let's not talk about who's stirring up trouble first. Lu Zhou's pigeons are in Luoyang, right? Send a letter asking everyone on the island to retreat. Don't leave anyone behind. Tell the merchants to stop trading temporarily. Tell them not to worry about the losses for now, and that they will be compensated in the future. At the same time, send out more patrol ships to circle Luzon Island. Sink any ships that appear in the vicinity after receiving the order, no matter who they are, even if they're carrying the dragon flag. In 2 months there will be new news from there. Zhang Xiaobao also did not know who was stirring up trouble behind the scenes. Since he could not find out immediately, he decided to wait. The people on the island were used to the good things sent by Tang. After using them for a long time, if they suddenly ran out of goods, they would panic. They would know who was trying to cross the island by patrolling the island. Wang Wan picked up the letter and wrote a reply. We have no choice but to force them to show themselves. What if they want to negotiate with us? Then we'll use the gunship to negotiate with them. Zhang Xiaobao was ready to kill. Wang Wan finished writing the letter and asked Erniu to deliver it to the messenger. The news quickly reached Luoyang. When Zhang Zhong saw the letter, he immediately sent a pigeon to Lu Zhou. At the same time, he wrote a letter and sent it to Gao Lishur in the capital to inform him of the situation. It only took 3 days for the news to reach the capital. Gao Lishur happily brought the letter to Li Longji. Your Majesty, there's news from Luoyang. Zhang Zhong said that he left this matter to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. The 2 little fellows asked Lu Zhou's men to withdraw and patrol the island with patrol ships. They said it won't take long for the matter to be resolved. Gao Lishur now had a clear identity. He was Zhang Xiaobao's godfather. As long as it involved Zhang Xiaobao, he would pay attention to it. Li Longji really did not expect that instead of sending troops to suppress them directly, and also not using conciliatory methods to pacify them, they would retreat. After thinking carefully, he suddenly saw the light. He said to Gao Lishur, your family Xiaobao is indeed outstanding. This move of retreating in order to advance is formidable. Good, the flexibility of this strategy is difficult to see. Your Majesty, you're flattering me. My son Xiaobao is just a little smart. You can't take it seriously. Gao Lishur was so excited that his face was red, but he still insisted on being humble. Since Zhang Zhong has already arranged for people to deal with it, there's no need to worry about this for now. Let's see what's going on. Li Longji did not have much time to deal with this matter. The Zhang family had taken over. If they did it well, it would be the same as before. If they did not, the Zhang family would naturally be anxious. Yes, Your Majesty. I'll go do something else. Gao Lishur agreed and left the place. He wanted to write a letter to his son. He wanted to praise him first. Li Longji looked at Gao Lishur's departing figure and shook his head helplessly. He realized that ever since Gao Lishur acknowledged Zhang Xiaobao as his godson, he had been busy all day. He did not know when to stop. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sent out the letter and began to work on the spring plowing. Wells were dug one after another. The people did not lack water anymore. Although it was tiring to use manpower to water the wells, the people did not care. They were fine as long as there was water. With the addition of the small river here, the spring plowing of the entire Baoxin County was no longer a problem. Zhang Xiaobao was preparing to move on to the next step, which was to plant the food that herbivores usually ate on the poor soil. When the zoo in Beijing opened, the things here would be almost ready. They would then be transported to Beijing to exchange for money. This would subsidize the local finances and provide a new source of income for the local businessmen who had previously paid to dig the wells. Just as the two of them were checking on the situation of the land, the new county magistrate finally arrived. What a great show of extravagance! The broken carriages were filled with things. The broken animals pulling the carriages did not even have a sack of dung behind them. They just pulled the carriages along the way. This county magistrate did not have anyone backing him. He had also passed the imperial examination in the past. Back then his family was poor and he finally made it. In the end, when he saw that other people's families were rich, he had some ideas and made his own family's living conditions not bad. He was originally a county magistrate in a lower county. Later, when he reached Kaiyuan, he thought that he could be promoted. In the end, after that examination, he returned to a lower county. He still did not pass the examination this year. Just as he thought that the imperial court would remove him, he did not expect to be sent to a middle county. Furthermore, it was a middle county not far from Luoyang. This made him feel that his luck had turned for the better. He brought everything with him and rushed from the distant lower county to Baoxin County. Master, the county seat of Baoxin County is in front. Look at the wall. The new county magistrate's housekeeper waited for the procession to arrive outside the county seat before speaking to his master. This housekeeper was not bad. He was upright and he was neither fat nor thin. He gave people the feeling that he had a righteous face. If he had not been called Hibaki by the people who had followed his master in the past, people would have thought that he was a good person. The new county magistrate's surname was also He. The housekeeper followed his surname and was called He Iwei. It was a good name. At this time he also saw the city walls in front of him. Although it could not be compared to the city walls of the capital, it was still much better than the places he had stayed in before. Hearing the housekeeper's words, a smile appeared on his face. He walked forward with his big belly and said, "In the future this will be our place. Find out more about the merchants in the county." "Yes, master. I will go and find out." "Master, do you think you will be troubled by your subordinates when you take up the post?" The housekeeper carefully reminded him. He had seen this kind of thing many times. Back when his master was in the county, he was only an official. The main reason was that his ranking in the examination was too low. But so what? Through his connections with others, his master gradually got rid of the original registrar. Then, he worked with the deputy county magistrate to get rid of the county magistrate. In the end, he became the county magistrate. The deputy county magistrate also went back home to farm. In terms of means, it was estimated that no one was a match for his master. Moreover, he dealt with people of a lower level with a higher level. Iwei smiled confidently. "What? Do you think there is still someone who can deal with me? Who would come to Zhong County to be an official if they are really capable? Go and tell the county that your master is here." "Master is right. I will arrange for someone to go." The housekeeper found two people. After a few words of instructions, the two people rode the two broken horses to the yamen. As a result, when the two people just arrived at the main street, they were stopped. A yamen runner waved the stick in his hand and shouted, "Who is it? How dare you ride a horse in the middle of the street? Come down." The two people did not shout for an urgent report. Naturally, they could not be allowed to run like this. What if they bumped into someone? In the past, no one was an official. But it was different now. "I am the family of the new county magistrate. Why don't you quickly report? Move aside." The person on the horse just stopped but did not get down. He sat on the horse and said arrogantly, Chapter 667. The two people who came to report the news were both poked down by the runner with a stick. The runner did not doubt the words of the two people. The new county magistrate might really come, but so what? Was the county magistrate more powerful than the deputy county magistrate? Although the rank of dereliction of duty was high, in terms of rank, the deputy county magistrate was secondary class too. How could a 10-year-old girl become an official at such a young age? Do you know you are wrong? After the two people were thrown to the ground, the runner asked happily. It felt good to beat the family of the new county magistrate. It was unknown what the runner was thinking. Anyway, he was happy and felt that the weather was warm and comfortable. You dare to beat us? I think you don't want to live anymore. We are. I know. You are the new county magistrate's people. But he hasn't taken office yet. Wait until he takes office. Tell me what's the matter. Without waiting for the person on the ground to finish his words, the runner continued his words and finally asked the purpose of coming here. My master is outside. Why don't you go and welcome him? Wait, I remember what you look like. The person on the ground sat up and threatened the runner. If I had known, I would have stabbed your eyes just now. I asked you to remember? It's good that you are here. Wait, I will go back to report and find someone to welcome you. You go back first. If you run again, we will beat you. The runner could bully people in the past, but now there was no chance. He finally found a chance. He told the two people and hurried back to the yamen. He said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, my lords, the new county magistrate is here. He is waiting outside for us to welcome him. I don't have time. When I came here, I left by myself. He is waiting outside. How much time will it take me to welcome him? Go find County Magistrate Ma. If you want to go, you can go. Wang Wan did not care about the new county magistrate. This county magistrate belonged to her and Xiao Bao. Only the two of them had the final say. If they went to welcome him, it would make the new county magistrate very happy. Especially Xiao Bao, who was Gao Lisher's godson. His father was still a high-ranking official in Luoyang. He was still thinking about the arrangements after the spring plowing. Who would compensate for the delay? The yamen runner knew that this would be the case, so he replied, yes, I will ask County Magistrate Ma to go over. I just beat up the new county magistrate's men. They rode their horses on the street and threatened me. Should I not go over? Go, he hasn't taken office yet, so he can't do anything to you. Even if he takes office, he won't do anything to you. Remember to take a good look and tell me when you come back. Good job. I haven't ridden a horse yet, so what are they? Wang Wan didn't care about such a small matter. After saying that, she continued to think about the future government affairs. The yamen runner happily found County Magistrate Ma. When County Magistrate Ma heard that the new county magistrate's family actually did this, he silently mourned for the new county magistrate. He had not done anything yet, but he fell ill as soon as they met. Didn't the newcomer want to figure it out first? After putting on his clothes, County Magistrate Ma walked out with the two of them. He wanted to see what kind of person the new county magistrate was. Yiwei was anxious waiting outside. There were many people coming in and out who looked at him strangely, which made him very uncomfortable. After waiting for half an hour, County Magistrate Ma finally came. Seeing that there were only 3 people, Yiwei felt very embarrassed. He stared at them with his eyes wide open. When he saw that it was a county magistrate, he felt a little better, but that was all. The housekeeper next to him asked in a low voice, Master, something is wrong. Why is there only a county magistrate and a yamen runner? The other one should be a servant. Where are the other officials in their county? What do you mean by their county? This is our county. The other officials may look down on me. Don't worry. After I take office, I will let them know how powerful I am. Yiwei suppressed the anger in his heart. When County Magistrate Ma came closer, he immediately put on a smiling face. He took 2 steps forward and said, Are you County Magistrate Ma? I am here to congratulate County Magistrate Ma first. I am sorry that I am late and delayed your appointment. It doesn't matter. Who is the County Magistrate? Follow me in so that we can hand over the documents later. Some of the accounts are too messy. Please excuse us. County Magistrate Ma said to Yiwei with a smile on his face. Understood. County Magistrate Ma, please. How could Yiwei not understand the meaning behind his words? He replied with a smile and followed County Magistrate Ma into the city. The people did not deliberately give way, which made He Wei very confused. No matter what, County Magistrate Ma was the leader of the county. Why were the people not afraid? No one even greeted him. The housekeeper next to him helped the master ask, "County Magistrate Ma, is the county busy? I see that the people are coming and going in a hurry. No other officials have shown up." "Oh, busy, really busy. Moreover, I have been sick these days. It is time for the spring plowing. Others really can't find time." County Magistrate Ma thought that the new county magistrate knew more and had the ability to deal with the two children. Therefore, he waited outside for others to welcome him. Now that he saw him, he finally understood that he did not know anything. Such a person still wanted to have a good life in the future? He must be dreaming. In the past few days, he had also sent people to ask about the two children in detail. Other than the identity of the eldest child of the Zhang and Wang families, one of whom was involved in the economic war, and the other of whom led an army to the point that the Tubo people didn't dare to fight back. The other boy was actually Gao Lisher's godson. Both of them had a plate and could enter the palace at any time. The little girl could even go to the imperial harem when she had nothing to do. How big of a face did they have? The message from the higher-ups was that no matter what, they could not offend the two children. Otherwise, no one could protect them. It was said that the emperor hung the portraits of the two children on the wall in the palace. Last time, the two children entered the palace to cook for the emperor. The emperor did not need anyone to test the poison. The dishes cooked by the people in the imperial kitchen had to be tested for poison first. The dishes cooked by the two little fellows were not tested. This was probably the first time since the emperor ascended the throne that he had done this. Even if the two little fellows killed her and reported it to the emperor, he would probably just say that the two children were still young and didn't know anything. Yes, the newcomer really did not know anything. Just wait to be taken advantage of. County Magistrate Ma did not want to say more to him. If he had known this would happen, he would not have come to welcome him. What if he offended the two children in the future and implicated him? County Magistrate Ma had let the two children investigate his account again and again. Many of the evidence of his crimes had been found. However, they did not care about him. Yes, they did not care. Although they were children, they were really good at handling government affairs. They were much better than County Magistrate Ma when he was young. County Magistrate Ma kept thinking along the way. He did not say anything. He Wei also kept silent, but his eyes were carefully looking at the things on the road. As they walked, they arrived at the Fengwu Pavilion. He Wei's eyes lit up. Beautiful, a good place. Looking at the situation, this restaurant should be good. He could get benefits from it in the future. County Magistrate Ma probably knew what He Wei was thinking. He said at this time, "County Magistrate this Fengwu Pavilion is not bad. It is the best restaurant in the county. It is just that I am not willing to come here. They do not accept credit. If I come here I have to pay. But there is an advantage here, that is, you can exchange for gold and silver. Even if you want to exchange for gold, you can't do it in other places in the county. You can barely spend money, but you can't even think about gold. They do not accept money. The food in this restaurant is also very good. If you have a chance in the future, you can come and try it. The layout of the courtyard is also extraordinary. Except for the two big restaurants, sea and clouds, and between the clouds and the water, there are few other places that can compare to this." County Magistrate Ma did not have it easy. He kindly reminded him, which meant, "Don't touch this place. You can't afford to touch it." Of course, it was not that everyone could not afford to touch it. It was not a problem to take away his two little guys. But when the Fengwu Pavilion came back, as soon as the little girl mentioned the matter of money, they immediately gave him 500 strings of coins. He Wei understood but felt very regretful. It was not easy to find a place to get money, but it turned out that there was a big backer behind it. Could even be exchanged for gold. It had to be at least a marquee residence. Ordinary places did not need gold at all. He looked behind and saw a small building that was not bad. He asked, "County Magistrate Ma, is that building also yours?" "Yes, they are all from the Fengwu Pavilion. However, the courtyard where the small building is located has been used for a long time." The Fengwu Pavilion said a few days ago that even if the people who live there leave, The courtyard will not be open to the public. It has been kept for the people who live there. I heard that the officials in the county are related to it. County Magistrate Ma could only remind him to this extent before he said that it was impossible. Could it be that there are crouching tigers and hidden dragons in Baoxin County? He Iwei did not say that for nothing. At least he understood the meaning of County Magistrate Ma's words. There were people in the yamen who were not to be offended. Along the way, he knew that there were two people who could not be offended. One was the Fengwu Pavilion and the other was someone. As for who it was, he had to find out. Walking forward, they arrived at the yamen of Baoxin County. Different from what he Iwei had imagined, there was only a yamen runner at the entrance. Yes, there was a bench. Since when could yamen runners sit on benches and stand at the entrance? Looking at the drum, there was a new drum with steps to go up. Standing on different steps, one could reach a different position. Even if a child wanted to play the drum, it would be fine. There was also a small hammer on the shelf at the side. The entrance was newly painted, and there were many flower pots on both sides of the entrance. There were small trees and flowers that were about to bloom in them. It did look comfortable, but who would build a yamen like this? Especially that door. Why was there a big rabbit painted on it? Wasn't that something for children to play with? County Magistrate Ma, this rabbit? Iwei pointed at the door and asked, "Oh, a rabbit. Isn't it cute?" Deputy County Magistrate Cuckoo painted it herself. The people also like to see it. I was thinking of raising a few more when I moved to another place. County Magistrate Ma was also very helpless about this pair of rabbits. If it were not for them, he would have been impeached. Was the entrance of the yamen a place for them to draw rabbits? Unfortunately, he could only acknowledge them. If he wanted to please them, he had to raise them. Iwei was also a little confused. He wondered if there was something wrong with this Baoxin County. After thinking for a while, he decided to go in from the front door and take a look. As soon as he walked in, he saw two children sitting in the hall, whispering to each other. He didn't know what they were doing. County Magistrate Ma knew that although they were only two children, they were invincible when they were together. Many government decrees were sent out under such circumstances. Not to mention other things, the county didn't have to worry about the shortage of water this year at all. Many commoners were willing to make some delicious food and send it over. Even if the two little fellows pushed it back and treated it as a gift, it couldn't stop the commoners from coming over to take a look. Right now, there was an old man sitting in the hall with nothing to do, drinking the good tea that the two little fellows brought. He just watched with a smile on his face. Yes, the two children were good-looking. The more he looked at them, the more he wanted to look at them. But they were officials. How could he do this? County Magistrate Ma was immersed in his own helplessness. Iwei didn't dare to enter, afraid that he would enter the wrong place. Who were the two children? After a while, County Magistrate Ma saw that Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao were still discussing matters. He said to Iwei, "These two people, one is Wang Wan, the Deputy County Magistrate. The other is Zhang Xiaobao, the County Registrar. In the future, if you have any matters, discuss with them." Yes, discuss. This time, Iwei didn't understand anything else. He looked at the two children sitting there in a daze. He couldn't connect them with the Deputy County Magistrate and the Registrar. At this moment, the sound of a drum could be heard. He turned around and saw a good-looking woman holding a child in her arms and banging the drum with her head. "Who's the drum? Bring her in." A voice came from the hall. The bailiff who was dozing off just now jumped up and led the woman in. Iwei's eyes were fixed on the woman. The more he looked at her, the more he felt that she was attractive. Although she wasn't dressed well and her face was dirty, her figure and face were good. Coincidentally, the two of them came close. Iwei thought that his opportunity had come. He revealed a charming smile and said to the woman, "Young lady, what's the matter? I'm the new county magistrate of Baoxin County. You can tell me. You go to the side." The bailiff stretched out his hand and pushed Iwei. He said to the woman holding the child, "Quick, if there's anything, you can find our cuckoo." "Yes, thank you, bailiff. Cuckoo Xiaoqiao is sick. The doctor told us to prepare for her funeral." "Cuckoo." The woman nodded. When she looked at Wang Wan who was walking over, she couldn't control her tears and handed the child in front of Wang Wan. Ah, she has a fever so hot. Xiao Bao, go call the doctor. Ching Air ice pack, hurry up. Why is she sick? Sister, sit down and wait. Don't worry, it's fine. Wang Wan stretched out her hand and touched the child's forehead. She immediately knew that she had a fever, but she didn't know what illness it was. While looking for a doctor, she asked someone to get the ice pack and comforted the woman. The woman put all her hopes on Wang Wan. She knew the identity of the two people. When it came to doctors in the Tang dynasty, other than the imperial palace, there were only the two families. If the two families couldn't do it, then it was completely over. Others said that the Dei Medical School had the best medical skills in the world. They could even save people who were about to die. At this time, He Wei came over again and said with a smile, "Young lady, I also have a doctor at home. Why don't you take a look at the child? You go to the side." Wang Wan was worried about the child. When she saw someone coming over, she didn't give him a good face and directly drove him away. "Do you know who I am?" He Wei turned to Wang Wan and asked unhappily. Wang Wan answered him with a side kick. When the big face came into contact with the sole of the shoe, the big face lost. He Wei's nose was broken. He didn't know where this little girl got her strength. He took a few steps back and was supported by County Magistrate Ma. "County Magistrate He, follow me to the back and watch." County Magistrate Ma took out a handkerchief and covered He Wei's nose. He Wei was not convinced. He muttered, "County Magistrate Ma, she dared to hit me. You don't, follow me to the back and watch." County Magistrate Ma emphasized and pulled He Wei out. He thought to himself, "She hit you? Do you know how many lives she has taken? If you continue to move forward, it won't be as simple as being beaten." The doctor and the ice pack came at the same time. The doctor who could follow Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan was naturally not an ordinary person. He took the ice pack and put it on the child's forehead. He freed one hand and held the child's arm. After a few breaths, he said to Wang Wan, "Young lady, don't worry. It's okay. It can be cured. I'll take it back." "Thank you, sister. Wait for a while. If Dr. Qi says it can be cured, then it can be cured. Dr. Qi treated me in Xiaobao." Wang Wan thanked the doctor for his hard work and then said to the woman. The woman held Cuckoo in her arms and cried, "Thank you, Cuckoo. Nothing can happen to Xiao Qiao. Otherwise, I don't want to live." Wang Wan pushed away the weapon on her body and struggled to get out. She gasped for breath and said to the woman, "Sister, just wait. Xiao Qiao may stay in the yamen for a few days. Sister, you don't have to worry about the medical fees. The treatment of the child doesn't cost money." The woman was still sobbing in a low voice, but she calmed down. She also knew that since the doctor who treated Cuckoo and Xiaobao was definitely not like the doctors outside, Xiao Qiao could be saved. The medical skills of the medical school were really good. The doctors outside were all quacks. Who said that they had to prepare for the funeral? Why could they cure her? God, he finally opened his eyes and sent Xiaobao and Cuckoo here. Wang Wan didn't know what the woman was thinking. She turned to look at the person who came to join in the fun and asked, "What are you doing?" "County Magistrate Ma, did he come with you?" "No, yes, he is the new county magistrate." "County Magistrate He Wei, is the child all right?" County Magistrate Ma didn't know whether to admit or deny because he was too stressed. Wang Wan glanced at He Wei indifferently. "Oh, the new county magistrate. County Magistrate Ma, you can take him to the handover. The little brother is all right. Dr. Qi's medical skills are not bad." Yes, the handover is not bad." County Magistrate Ma nodded and took He Wei to another side. When they left the door, he let out a sigh of relief. At the same time, he had a deeper understanding of the family of the two little guys. Was it not bad? Didn't he hear what the woman said just now? Other doctors were asked to prepare for the funeral, but nothing happened when they came here. No wonder so many officials protected them and saved their lives at the critical moment. He Wei was frightened by what happened just now. He didn't understand why County Magistrate Ma was afraid of a little girl. He felt that this little girl was the county magistrate. Following County Magistrate Ma to the backyard, He Wei finally couldn't help but ask, "County Magistrate Ma, why did you treat that girl just now?" "Oh, County Magistrate He, you're talking about this? Don't you think that girl is pretty?" County Magistrate Ma couldn't tell the truth. Pretty, from what you said, she is indeed pretty. She is already like this now. When she grows up, she will definitely be a great beauty. Don't tell me that, County Magistrate Ma. Haha. He showed an expression that all men knew. His words scared County Magistrate Ma. He looked around and shook his head. No, it's not what County Magistrate he thinks. That girl is the future wife of the person called Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao is smart and will definitely be a high official in the future. County Magistrate Ma expressed very clearly. He meant that he was worried that when Xiao Bao became a high official, he would think of someone who disrespected Cuckoo and take revenge. He just didn't say it out loud. In fact, he was already a high official now. If he wanted real power, he only needed to send a letter to the capital and Gao Lisher would arrange it. Yiwei thought for a while and suddenly found a problem. He asked, County Magistrate Ma, can you tell me the truth? How did these two little guys become officials? They look like they are only 12 or 13 years old. Even if they are a 9th rank official, it's not that easy to become a 9th rank official. County Magistrate, don't ask anymore. I don't dare to say. Go and find out for yourself. Remember my words and be very careful. Don't think of yourself as a county magistrate. That's all I can do. My heart hurts again. Later, I will have someone send the account books to County Magistrate He. As County Magistrate Ma was talking, he saw a servant of the family who was about to leave. He couldn't guarantee that his people would be so loyal. As long as Cuckoo smiled at people, they would be scared to death or say anything. Watching County Magistrate Ma leave, He finally found that something was wrong. He muttered, the two kids are very powerful? Their family is very powerful? Seems that I have to be careful. Be careful and don't cause trouble. I hope that girl won't remember what happened just now. Half an hour later, while He was still checking the account books with his people, the woman's child, Xiao Chao, had already cooled down. Although it was still 38 degrees, it was much better than when he came. There were ice packs under his arms and on his forehead. There were many needles on his body and his little feet were connected to a bottle of saline that had just been developed. There was only saline and no other medicine, so he was sleeping peacefully. The maidservant carefully wiped Xiao Cao's body with cotton balls dipped in liquor. The woman sat at the side and looked at her son with a relieved smile. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan watched from a distance. Xiaobao, what is Li Longji thinking? He sent a stupid official over. Wang Wan wiped the bottom of her shoes with all her strength. Earlier it was stained with blood, so she didn't kick it properly. They are at different levels. He might think that he is very experienced as an official, but he doesn't know that is not the way to be an official. Li Longji wants us to educate him, not kill him. It's quite difficult. I think that his stomach is not qualified. Zhang Xiaobao passed Wang Wan some water and asked her to use it to wipe. Then what do you think we should do? Wang Wan asked as she continued to wipe. Zhang Xiaobao thought for a moment and said, give him some trouble and let him experience more things. Maybe he will change. Educating people is the most difficult thing. Okay, you think of a way to give him trouble. I still have government affairs to deal with. Okay, I have nothing to do anyway. Chapter 668. The arrival of the new county magistrate made a ripple in the peaceful Baoxin County. It was just a ripple. The main reason was that He had too many family members. He had a large number of wives and concubines. There were also many servants. The residents of the county magistrate in Baoxin County could not accommodate all of them. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan saw it and expressed their understanding. Their family members had a larger group, but they did not have so many wives and concubines. The two of them continued to do their own things. County Magistrate Ma survived the last stage and could finally leave. He happily packed his luggage and followed his family to the prefectural city to take up his post. After the arrival of the new county magistrate, He was very low-key for 5 consecutive days. When he took over the post, he knew that he was short of money, but he still admitted that he had received the money according to the account. Then he had a minor illness. He said that he would have a headache when he looked at the official documents and needed to rest for a while. Xiaobao, it seems that He is not so stupid. Not only does he not care about the affairs of the county, but he also takes time to have a meal at the Fengwu Pavilion every day. Maybe he did not understand the situation when he came, but now he understands. Wang Wan was already very comfortable in her role as the county deputy. She was in charge of all matters in the county. She had specially arranged for someone to renovate a room to store the files. According to her previous work habits, every aspect of the files was filed and numbered. She even made an index of the files. It was much more standardized than before. Zhang Xiaobao also cooperated with Wang Wan to record the data. He also drew various tables according to the way the government used to do statistics. 1 table plus 2 tables equals 3 tables. There were the data of the items, expenses, income, notes, and so on. It seemed that there were too many tables, but it was very convenient when used in real life. It could control the error rate to 0.5%. Seeing that Wang Wan mentioned He Yiwei, Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while and said, Li Longji did not mean to do anything to He Yiwei. Of course, if he wants to find trouble, we will deal with him. Li Longji wants us to help promote the officials. Suppressing him is not the purpose. Let me give you an idea. Don't let him be idle. On this day, He Yiwei woke up early in the morning. After freshening up, he wanted to go to Fengwu Pavilion to stay for half a day. But Wang Wan found him. County Magistrate I have something to discuss with you. I'm going to show the county's financial statement in the form of a map and post it on the bulletin board outside the yamen. Then, I'll find someone to explain to the people who don't understand how much money the county has and what it spends on. Good, that's good. Cuckoo, do as you see fit. I've been feeling a little unwell recently, so I'll have to trouble you, Cuckoo. He Yiwei smiled at Wang Wan. Wang Wan looked at He Yiwei's stomach and felt that he should lose some weight. Li Longji would not be satisfied with his current appearance. Seeing that He Yiwei still wanted to hide, she said, County Magistrate since we are going to explain to the people, we should let the most prestigious person in the county do it. Why don't you do it? Good, that's good. Cuckoo, you post it and I'll explain to the people. Then I'll go back and fill in the gaps in the treasury. He Yiwei was still easy to talk to. At this time, he had returned to being a petty official who did not provoke others. He finally asked people to inquire about the identity of the 2 children under the county magistrate from the mouth of the common people. He who had climbed up step by step was not stupid. He knew that Xiaobao and Cuckoo were above the law. He didn't want to cause trouble and just had to get through it. Wasn't it just standing outside and explaining to the people? If he wanted to survive in the officialdom, he had to endure all kinds of grievances. Wang Wan didn't care whether He Yiwei had really thought it through, and was willing to take the initiative to do things for the people, or if he was going to wait until she and Xiaobao left. Anyway, as long as he did it, there was a high chance that he would be educated in the end. After making arrangements, she went to do other things. She ordered people to post Zhang Xiaobao's drawing on the notice board outside the yamen. He Yiwei was really good at enduring. When he saw the drawing posted, he asked about the relevant situation and asked his family to pay for the money in the account with County Magistrate Ma. He then stood outside and explained to the people. It was the first time that the people had seen such a thing. They surrounded the notice board and listened to the new county magistrate talk about how much land there was in the county, how much land was in the fields, how much was left in the yamen, what was the use of the money, where the money came from, what contributions the people had made in the process, and so on. The simple people didn't feel that it was shameful for a county magistrate to explain in person. In the past, they didn't know about such things. Today, they learned that they also contributed a part of the money that the yamen earned. What I mean is that Baoxing County doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to everyone. Everyone's efforts made the yamen have more money. It takes from the people and uses it for the people. There will be money to support the areas in the county that need it. I will stop here today. There will be a new drawing tomorrow. He Yiwei spoke intermittently for 4 hours. He was so tired that he was sweating all over. In the end, he summarized according to Wang Wan's writing. He cupped his hands and bowed to the people around him. After that, he wiped the sweat on his face and turned to go home to rest. He didn't want to go to the Fengwu Pavilion. The moment he turned around, someone in the crowd shouted, "County Magistrate, he is a good official. I brought tea for County Magistrate he." "County magistrate he, please have a drink." As the voice sounded, a person squeezed through the crowd with a teapot in one hand and a big bowl in the other. Idyll didn't expect that someone would bring tea for him. Just as he was worried that someone wanted to poison him, he turned his head and saw that it was the deputy manager of the Fengwu Pavilion. He was relieved. Under the praise of the people, he drank a big bowl of tea and wiped the sweat on his forehead. When the breeze blew, he suddenly had a different feeling. It was very comfortable, but he couldn't explain it clearly. At a high place nearby, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were really watching with binoculars. "Xiaobao, your plan will probably succeed. I don't believe that he has a heart of stone. After you finish explaining all the forms, let him continue to work." Wang Wan felt a sense of accomplishment. It was easy to deal with a person, but it was very difficult to change a person. What she was doing now was to change Idyll and return Li Longji a good county magistrate. After drinking a bowl of tea, Idyll felt much more comfortable. He bowed to the people again and turned around to go home. He lay on the couch and felt very conflicted. On the one hand, he felt that he was in a good mood today. On the other hand, he felt that Wang Wan was deliberately making things difficult for him. He tossed and turned, unable to sleep. The next day, he came to the new map and continued to explain to the people. On this day, a letter was sent from Luoyang. It was written by Zhang Shua and invited Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to join Jixin Courtyard. They were there in name and didn't need to participate in the history revision. "Cuckoo, it seems that little Li is preparing to perform a pilgrimage." Zhang Xiaobao had heard Wang Wan mention a certain period of history. Some had changed while some were still continuing. "Yes, the economy is prosperous, the country is stable, and the people are happy. It's time to perform a pilgrimage." Wang Wan threw the letter aside and said, "The people are really happy? All right then. Li Yi, does Zhang Shua want us to help him come up with ideas?" Zhang Xiaobao couldn't say anything else. He could only admit that it was a political necessity. Wang Wan lowered her head and looked at the tips of her shoes. After some thought she said, "Xiaobao, we need to give Li Longji some trouble. We need to let him know how big the world is and that he shouldn't think that he's that powerful. Many people say that he has been fond of grandiose achievements ever since his pilgrimage. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but we need to take precautions. It's the same. All leaders are the same. When they reach a certain level, they start to like singing praises. What trouble should we find? I need to think about it carefully." After Zhang Xiaobao finished speaking, he went to the backyard to think of ways to make Li Longji feel threatened. Whether it was internally or externally, he had to think of ways to make Li Longji feel insignificant. 3 days passed. As expected, Zhang Shua followed up with another letter. He asked for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's help in perfecting the pilgrimage. Wang Wan immediately wrote a letter back to Zhang Shua based on what happened in history. If Zhang Shua didn't follow the letter, it would change a little. If he followed the letter, it would be normal. "Xiaobao, have you thought of a way? Can we change history?" Wang Wan asked Zhang Xiaobao after she finished writing the letter. "We've already changed history. The pilgrimage isn't important. At least it's brought forward. Even if it's not brought forward, it's fine. I'll write a letter to Lu Zhou. I have to influence little Li internally. I haven't thought about the external matters yet. Idyll should be done, right? It's time to arrange something new for him." Zhang Xiaobao firmly believed that he and Cuckoo could continue the prosperous era. "All right, I'll look for him first thing in the morning." Wang Wan was only asking casually. She was not worried about not being able to control the situation. Early the next morning, when Idyll was about to look for Wang Wan to clarify what he was going to say today, Wang Wan came to him first and said, "County Magistrate something happened during the spring plowing in Shangniu village. Why don't we go and have a look today?" "All right, that's good. Let's go and have a look," Idyll said in his signature manner. Hence, the group of more than 40 people rode to Shangniu village. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan brought 6 people with them. 4 of them were guards sent by Gao Lisher while the other 2 were farmers. As soon as they set out, Idyll finally saw the carriage of the 2 children and the servants' horses. The horses were all military horses. At first glance, the carriage looked like it was painted red. However, upon closer inspection, it was actually made of Phoebe Jinan wood. There was no paint on the outside and it was natural. "Master, their carriage is better than ours," the housekeeper said to He Wei, who was sitting in the carriage. "I see. They are richer than us. You know how rich between the clouds and the water is. Do you think I can rob them? Be careful on the road to avoid being schemed against." He Wei was worried that Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao would find trouble with him again. He was very vigilant. "I understand," the housekeeper replied, and also became vigilant. Shangniu village was not far from the county. The group of people walked on the bumpy road. After an hour, they finally arrived at their destination. As soon as they got off the carriage, they saw two people in front of them pulling the people working in the field and saying something. Wang Wan glanced at Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head and said, "I didn't arrange it." Chapter 669. He Wei also saw the two people in front of him. He thought that Wang Wan and Xiaobao were deliberately scheming against him, so he didn't immediately go over. Instead, he looked at Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao. Seeing that the two were also puzzled, he sent someone over to ask. He also sent the housekeeper over. It didn't take long for the two people to return. They told their families what they had heard and seen. "Master, look carefully. One of them is Japanese and the other is from our great Tang. Both of them are from the Huainan Dao's Four Seas Academy. They want to sign a contract with the local people. In the autumn, they want to use money to buy the leftover rice from them. The price they are offering is not low." He Wei's housekeeper told the master what he had learned. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also understood. What do they want the rice straw for? Is it to make fertilizer? Make things to sell? Isn't the Four Seas Academy a place that the imperial court set up to cheat people? If I want to collect the rice straw, what would I do? Yes, I can burn it to ashes and then boil it with alkali, but the cost is too high. It's not worth it. Wang Wan didn't know what to do with the rice straw, but she knew that the more simple-minded it seemed, the more unusual it was. Just like Zhang Xiaobao when he was scheming, he would give people a feeling of a heavenly steed soaring across the sky. Zhang Xiaobao also narrowed his eyes and thought, maybe the international friend wants to help. He knows that the people of this county don't have it easy, so he raised the price to collect the rice straw. Moreover, as long as there is rice straw, he must sell it to them. Otherwise, he will pay 10 times the compensation. It's like forcing others to benefit. Then let's go and take a closer look. Wang Wan saw that Zhang Xiaobao couldn't say anything, so she pulled Zhang Xiaobao forward. He Wei also walked over. He wanted to understand what the Japanese and the Tang were planning to do. Could it be that collecting rice straw could make them rich? The price was too high. A carriage full of ordinary carriages was worth 6 copper coins, and a carriage full of firewood was only worth 5 or 6 copper coins. Could it be that straw was more valuable than firewood? When the three of them approached, two people from the Four Seas Academy were currently persuading the farmer. "Big brother, don't worry. We will definitely accept this price. We have money. Later today, we will go and discuss with the county magistrate. We will first put the money used to collect the straw in the yamen. When the time comes, we will have no choice but to accept it. Your price is too high. I'm scared." The farmer was very honest. If others gave him too much money, he would be even more worried. "It's not that high. We need the straw for great use. Usually, a cart can be sold for 3 or 4 copper coins. We want the straw to be very dry. That's why we're paying 6 copper coins." The Japanese explained in a very fluent language. The farmer originally wanted to ask more, but suddenly saw the three people coming over. His eyes lit up. He knew them. The county magistrate, the registrar, and the deputy county magistrate actually came together today. He quickly bowed. "County magistrate He, Deputy Wang, Registrar Zhang, you three are here. These two people said that they want to use the high holidays to collect the straw after this autumn harvest. I don't know if I should agree." After speaking to the three people, the farmer turned to the two people and said, "This is County Magistrate He of our county. Just now, you said that you want to put the money in the yamen. Ask the county magistrate." As expected, the two people looked at He Wei. He Wei was stunned. He wanted to hide at the back, but he was sent to the front by the farmer. He met the two people's eyes and coughed reservedly. He said, I am the county magistrate of Baoxin County. Why are you two collecting the straw? Your Excellency? Is it really Your Excellency? The Tang person looked carefully and saw that He Wei was indeed wearing an official's robe. However, the other two children who were also wearing official's robes were too young. Can a county magistrate be fake? If you don't believe me, I will take you two back to the yamen. Where are the yamen runners? He Wei couldn't discuss the issue of face. When he threatened, the yamen runners immediately responded. They were indeed wearing yamen runners' robes. This time he actually brought two yamen runners. The yamen runners were very respectful. Although they knew that the county magistrate didn't have the final say, they still stood out to help. When facing outsiders, internal strife should stop first. Yes. Since Darren is here, we will tell Darren. We want to use the straw to make a profitable business. We can't say it now, but Darren will know when it's done. We are willing to pay 6 copper coins to buy a cart of dry straw and deposit 2,000 strings of coins in the county office. We hope Darren can help us. At this time, the Japanese man came over and said respectfully. There was sincerity in his eyes. Make a lot of money with straw? Wait, let's talk about it after the officials of our county discuss it. He Wei couldn't figure out how to make a lot of money with straw. He asked the two people to wait, and then he went to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and whispered, Xiaobao, help us. How can we make a lot of money with straw? I know who you are. You are the person behind the economic war in Jianan Circuit. What do you think? He Wei was very modest. After a few days of understanding, he had already obtained a lot of information, especially the things that happened in Jianan Circuit. In the war that killed people without spilling blood, it was his own county magistrate, Zhang Xiaobao, who commanded and killed the Tubo people until they lost everything. No wonder County Magistrate Ma was so scared. County Magistrate you are a county magistrate. You can't just rely on exploiting the common people without accomplishing anything. You have to act like a county magistrate and make the decision. If something happens, come to me in Cuckoo. Don't be afraid. You are an official of the imperial court and the backbone of the common people. You have to act like a parent official. Otherwise, how can you take on great responsibilities in the future? Zhang Xiaobao didn't intend to intervene immediately. Besides, he couldn't see anything right now. Perhaps the other party really did have a way to make straw valuable. There were indeed many ways to use straw. He Wei saw that Zhang Xiaobao pushed the matter back, but was still willing to take responsibility for it. He gritted his teeth and turned back to the two people. Good. That's good. When will the 2,000 strings of money be sent to the yamen? When will you be able to work with the local farmers? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The two people repeatedly expressed their gratitude. They seemed very happy. At this time, Wang Wan said, County Magistrate Shangyo village doesn't have enough manpower for the spring plowing. Why don't we help plant the seedlings? We also know the suffering of the common people. Good. That's good. What else could He Wei say? Let's do it. The three of them brought their subordinates into the field to help plant the seedlings. Zhang Xiaobao asked someone to bring the boots to everyone. After putting them on, he jumped into the field to help. Half of the 20 people didn't know how to plant the seedlings and had to learn on the spot. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, because of their height advantage, planted the seedlings very quickly. Both of them knew how to plant the seedlings. They had zhuangzi at home, so they used to watch from the side of the field. Later on, they personally participated. He Wei, on the other hand, didn't know how to plant the seedlings. Although his family didn't have a good life, he was wholeheartedly studying. His parents didn't let him do the tiring work at home. He followed the example of others. He grabbed a handful of seedlings with one hand and separated 2 to 3 seedlings with the other hand. He pressed them into the water along the line. Hiss! After pressing the line for less than 10 times, He Wei took a deep breath. It was cold, really cold. He was wearing boots, but it still couldn't stop the cold air from penetrating his body. There was also a bone-piercing feeling in his hands. It traveled up his arms and up his neck. He raised his head and looked at the farmer's bare feet in the water. He gritted his teeth and continued to insert the seedlings. His fingers were rubbed by the mud, and his fingers hurt. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao also felt uncomfortable, but the two of them could endure it. They put in 2 after 1 step. Unexpectedly, they were not slower than the farmer. Out of the 4 people sent by Gao Lisher, 2 of them also knew how to do farm work. The other 2 people had to carry the seedlings. 2 of them were carrying the seedlings, one in front and one at the back. Walking on the muddy and narrow ridge of the field, it was really slippery. In this field, there was only a man and a 13 to 14-year-old girl working. The 2 of them were really tired. The girl didn't know why the 3 highest officials of the county came over. Now that she saw them planting seedlings in the field, she was stunned and didn't know what to do. Officials, the 3 highest officials in the county were planting seedlings in her family's field. The 2 best officials were about the same age as her, but they were so skilled. Could it be that she just let them do it? Girl, quickly go home. Let grandma boil the ginger water. The adults' bodies are precious, we can't let them fall sick. The man urged his daughter. I know. The little girl turned around and ran. She didn't even put on the shoes that were placed by the side of the field. After inserting the seedlings, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan felt their body heat up. They rolled up their trousers and took off their shoes. They began to walk barefoot in the water. It was not that they were not afraid of the cold, but the shoes were too troublesome. The ground was wet, and the mud was sticky to their feet. When there were places with different depths, the shoes would tilt, and the water would pour in. When that happened, they would wear the shoes again. After walking 2 ridges, there would be blisters. Yiwei still didn't know. He still couldn't bear to take off his boots, so he rolled up his robes to his waist and bent over to insert them. As he inserted them, water started to enter his boots. At first he felt a little uncomfortable, but after Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan inserted 6 ridges and he inserted 1.5 ridges, he finally realized that something was wrong. It hurt. The water had entered his boots and actually rubbed his feet. He took off the shoes and saw that there were blisters. There was a hint of red in the white. The housekeeper beside him came over. Master, why don't you go up and rest? Rest? Can I rest? Do I dare to rest? General Gao's son and daughter-in-law are soaking in the water. You want me to rest? Then it's not a matter of whether I can be an official or not. I have to think about it. We are not alive and we are barefoot. I just found out that Zhang Xiaobao and Cuckoo are not wearing the same thing as us. They are wearing something that directly covers their feet. It looks very thin. Yiwei didn't dare to go up. He found a problem. That is, the things that they wear on their feet are different. Some people wear shoes and boots barefoot. Some people use cloth to wrap their feet. He also made something that can be worn on his calves. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wear another kind of thing. It's not thick and it can be pulled down easily. It's just above the ankle. What is this? It looks very convenient. Master, what about the blisters on your feet? The housekeeper said worriedly. I will go back and choose. I don't believe that the 2 children can do it, but I can't. It's so cold. Yiwei also learned from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He directly stepped into the water and clenched his teeth and continued to insert the seedlings. The others also didn't dare to complain. They could only share the joys and sorrows. Some of the commoners who passed by saw this scene. The 3 highest-ranking officials in the county were helping out in other people's fields. They worked until noon and didn't even eat. Chapter 670. Xiaobao, open your mouth. Isn't it delicious? Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao were planting rice seedlings side by side until noon. They were hungry, so they quietly grabbed a handful of pork floss from their pockets and stuffed it into Zhang Xiaobao's mouth. They also ate a handful and chewed with their cheeks puffed up. Yes, Zhang Xiaobao's mouth was stuffed with food. He tried his best to wet the pork floss with his saliva and nodded in response. The 2 of them secretly ate while the others didn't eat anything. They didn't even drink much water and were stubbornly enduring. A few people bent their backs and buried their heads in their work. It wasn't that they didn't want to straighten their backs, but they were afraid that their backs would break and they wouldn't want to bend anymore. Zhang Xiaobao suddenly reached out and pulled out a water snake from the water. He gave the rice seedlings in his other hand to Wang Wan. He took out a small knife from his waist and began to clean up the snake. This time he didn't bring any hidden arrows and didn't tie a dagger to his calf. The knife was at his waist. In a while I'll skewer it for you to eat. I've prepared seasoning. I originally wanted to make mud toads. If there's a snake, I'll eat it first. Zhang Xiaobao dug out the snake's gallbladder and said something to Wang Wan. He walked towards He Wei and said, "County Magistrate He, please eat the snake's gallbladder. Swallow it raw, don't bite it." He Wei didn't know if the water snake was poisonous or not. He was scared when he saw the snake. He nervously moved his numb feet and opened his mouth to let Zhang Xiaobao put the gallbladder into his mouth. It was bitter. Even if it wasn't broken, it was still bitter. "Thank you, Xiaobao. The snake's gallbladder is good stuff. Are there many snakes in the field? Are they poisonous?" He Wei endured the discomfort and ate the snake's gallbladder. He didn't dare to not eat it, so he asked worriedly, "This one isn't poisonous. When you feel a sudden pain in your feet and then numbness, then you've been bitten by a poisonous snake. Remember to call me. I have a temporary solution." Zhang Xiaobao scared He Wei again. There were too few poisonous water snakes here. The probability of being bitten was similar to winning a lottery. Good, that's good. What else could He Wei say? He just had to bear with it and hope that the Zhang family's medical skills were really as effective as the rumors said. At this time, the maidservant of the owner of the farm also came back. Her house was not close. When she came home, she found that there was no ginger, so she went to borrow some ginger. Only then did she boil a jar of ginger soup and add some red pond in it. After drinking a bowl of red pond ginger water, He Wei felt much warmer. Just as he was about to ask for another bowl, Zhang Xiaobao, who hadn't left yet, said, "County Magistrate He, their families aren't rich. One bowl is 2 copper coins. Remember to pay as much as you drink. You can't take benefits from them when you help them." Good, that's good. Pay up. It's not expensive, only 2 copper coins per bowl. Give me another bowl. He Wei didn't expect that he would have to pay for his work. One bowl cost 2 copper coins. 2 bowls were enough to fill a jar. The little girl hurriedly said, "It's free. Since you're working for my family, you don't need to pay for the things you should do." "How can it be free? I have to thank your family for letting me do more work. You see, I'm already very fat. Did your family plant rice like this in the past?" This time He Wei didn't need Zhang Xiaobao to remind him. He knew what to say. At the same time, he looked at the little girl and felt sorry for her. He finally knew what spring plowing was like. "County Magistrate, you must be tired. Why don't you take a rest? If you work more often, you won't feel so uncomfortable." "County Magistrate, Grandma has already killed the chicken. There will definitely be chicken to eat tonight." The little girl licked her lips and promised He Wei, "Okay, no, give me money. You have to give me money. I always give money when I eat." He Wei didn't need Zhang Xiaobao to say anything. He took the initiative to ask for money. He finally understood. Wasn't it just using his own money to make up for the people? No matter how expensive it was, how much money could it be? If he gave it, he didn't need to worry. It was also good to have chicken to eat. Zhang Xiaobao felt that this He Wei was very interesting. Even if he pretended to be fine, it would become natural after he got used to it. He said to the little girl, "Just now, County Magistrate wrote a poem. It said that when the spring breeze comes, the spring water gurgles, and the spring water gurgles, and it's cold to the bone. When it's cold to the bone, it's in the heart, and the world is the sky. It's also about knowing the difficulties of the people, and knowing the difficulties of the people in the water, and the twists and turns in the water recall the past. In the past, I diligently studied and hoped that the heavens would pity me. When did the heavens pity me? When did the sea send me a sail, and the sail brought me to the shore, and the shore laughed happily? Who was in the fields, and who was in the fields remembering the old words? Xiaobao." He Wei looked at Zhang Xiaobao and didn't know what to say. "Magistrate He, good poem. Just now, Cuckoo said that Magistrate He's poem was about the past. Magistrate, you're busy. I'll catch a toad to go with your wine tonight," Zhang Xiaobao said again and walked to Wang Wan's side to continue working. The little girl didn't understand. "County Magistrate, what's the meaning of your poem? Is it about transplanting rice seedlings? Yes, yes, transplanting rice seedlings. Yes, transplanting rice seedlings. When transplanting rice seedlings, thinking about the harvest in autumn and eating fragrant rice. You have to remember the difficulties of transplanting rice seedlings. Iwei's expression changed a few times. He said to the little girl and continued transplanting rice seedlings. His eyes looked at his reflection in the muddy water, and no one knew what he was thinking. The little girl didn't understand the purpose of Zhang Xiaobao's words just now. She smiled and said, "County Magistrate, Grandma is already boiling water at home. When it's hot, you won't have to worry about your hands splitting." Good, that's good. Iwei's movements were much more skillful, and he replied as he worked. Soon it was dark and they couldn't work in the fields anymore. Everyone bent over and walked to the road. They slowly sat down and lay back, all of them grinning. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't care if there was anyone next to them. They massaged each other. The two of them were short, so they didn't have to bend over so much in the fields. They were better off than the others. Xiaobao, I think if the 7 dwarfs and Snow White lived together, it would be good to plant rice. Snow White would cook at home, and the dwarfs would transplant rice seedlings. What do you think? Wang Wan had just been massaged by Zhang Xiaobao, and now she was massaging Zhang Xiaobao. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, I think if the water was bigger and deeper, the 7 dwarfs would drown and Snow White would drown. That's Snow White's story. Not the story of a matriarchal clan. 7 of them. What are you talking about? Rogue. I'm cooking. So tiring for one person to cook 8. Be gentle. How many toads did I catch just now? I'll make braised toads for you, okay? My waist is breaking. After a rest, everyone could finally stand up and walk. They walked together to the house on this piece of land. The little girl jumped and jumped beside them. From time to time, she would say a few words to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The 3 of them looked about the same age. The male host was very excited. It was the first time that a high-ranking official had come to his house to eat, and he even helped with work. After walking for nearly half an hour, the group finally arrived at the house. There were 3 earthen houses, and there was a fence outside. The enclosed ground inside was planted with green onions, which had just sprouted. There were also 2 chickens in the yard, 1 male and 1 female. It didn't look so shabby. The roof of the house was very dense with grass, and the yard was very clean. At first glance, one could tell that this was a diligent family. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the green onion field and said to the male host, when it's warm again, don't forget to plant the green onions in the field diagonally and bury them high in the soil. This year, the county will need a lot of green onions. The male host understood. If they were planted diagonally and filled in the soil, the green onions would grow. It was suitable for green onions. He nodded respectfully and said, Thank you, sir, for your guidance. Iwei looked at Zhang Xiaobao in surprise. He didn't expect these 2 children to know so much about farming. He originally thought that children from rich families didn't know anything. Why would they need a lot of green onions? Everyone simply freshened up and prepared to eat. The dishes were really good. It should be the mushrooms left from last year. After the mushrooms were soaked, the chicken was stewed. There was no need to eat it. Looking at the chicken skin, one could tell that it was an old hen that was stewed. Fortunately, it was stewed for a long time, so it shouldn't be difficult to chew. There was also a dish of green and tender wild vegetables fried with pork, a bowl of wild vegetable soup with eggs, a small plate of salted beans, and a pancake fried with eggs. There were a total of 4 dishes and 1 soup. Everyone knew that this was the best thing that this family could bring out. However, the staple food was finished. There were no steamed buns, only rice mixed with millet. One look at the rice and one could tell that it wasn't good rice. However, there was nothing else in it. There was no sand, and there weren't any bones left after the small rice was ground. One could imagine that they had picked it over and over again. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan hadn't taken their seats yet. The main seat and the head seat were empty. Even the county magistrate didn't sit. He left the seats for Xiaobao and Cuckoo. The 2 of them were cooking toads and snakes in the kitchen. After waiting for a while, the 2 of them came back with 2 large wooden plates. Wang Wan looked at the seats and sat down at the head seat. Zhang Xiaobao also couldn't sit down, so he directly sat down at the main seat. However, he pushed the braised toad in front of Wang Wan. Wang Wan smiled and looked at Zhang Xiaobao. Then she pushed the braised toad in front of the male host. Just as everyone was about to eat, a shout came from outside. "Brother Fu, are you here? Good news. I heard that the county's silver has increased. Bracelets and chains are much more expensive than before. If you have any at home, quickly sell them." Chapter 671. When the owner of the farmhouse heard the noise, he quickly went out and sent the people away in less than a quarter of an hour. He turned back and said to County Magistrate, "My neighbor said that someone in the county is buying jewelry at a high price. According to the weight, it's more expensive than the pawn shop. I don't have anything made with silver in my house." Everyone finally started to eat. In fact, only Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and He Yiwei were eating. The others looked at the pitiful amount of food and didn't touch it. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan really didn't care about the food. When it was time to enjoy, they would enjoy. When there was a special situation, it was fine as long as they could fill their stomachs. While eating, they praised the chicken's meat. He Yiwei was indeed hungry. After working for a whole day, he had run out of water. He picked up the rice bowl and stuffed it into his mouth. He did not forget to carry out his duties and asked about the situation in the male lead's house. He also asked about the situation in the neighborhood. He also paid attention to how the well was being dug. In the end, he talked about the increase in the price of silver. He Yiwei suddenly stopped and looked at Zhang Xiaobao and asked, "Registrar Zhang, could it be that someone wants to fight an economic war?" Without waiting for Zhang Xiaobao to speak, Wang Wan said, "I'm not afraid. If they want to use the price of silver to leverage the entire monetary system and tire them out, it's not that I look down on them, but they don't have that ability." Yes, I'm not afraid. Then this matter. He Yiwei thought about it and was relieved. There were capable people in his county, so he didn't need to worry about other people coming to fight an economic war. Well, now that they said it like this, it sounded quite satisfying. An economic war. This matter doesn't exist. Just wait quietly. Wang Wan replied. She felt that if someone really wanted to use the price of silver to create hype, Zhang Xiaobao didn't even need to do anything. She could deal with it herself. It was a small matter. Sitting at the other table, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were proud. With the young master and the young lady in charge, it would be strange if someone could cause trouble. The 4 guards sent by Gao Lisher were also comfortable. They were General Gao's adopted sons, so they weren't ordinary people. However, the people around He Yiwei were very depressed. The master could not even lift his head in front of the 2 children. The county magistrate was really suffering. The male owner of the house understood why the registrar official was sitting at the head of the table. It was because he was capable and not bad. The county magistrate was good. The registrar official and the deputy magistrate were good too. Although they had to fork out a lot of things to cook this time, it was worth it. The meal lasted for 2 hours in a pleasant atmosphere. He Yiwei kept yawning at the end of the meal. Under Wang Wan's hint, he asked someone to take out some money and give it to this family. The reason was that he wanted to stay for another day, and let this family be responsible for buying groceries. It would be best if they could eat wontons tomorrow. The male host accepted the food embarrassedly. Looking at the leftovers on the table, he knew that no one was willing to eat. Only the registrar and deputy magistrate ate a lot. When it was time to sleep, it was troublesome. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan naturally had to have a room. There were still 2 rooms left, and He Yiwei had to have one. They could not let the owner of the house not have a place to stay, and there was not enough bedding. After some discussion, Wang Wan would not stay with Zhang Xiaobao. She would stay with the granddaughter and old lady of the house. The 3 of them settled down. The rest of them would take turns to rest in the other 2 rooms. They would take turns to rest every hour. They asked the male owner to borrow a lot of hay and even firewood to lay on the ground. Zhang Xiaobao pondered for a moment. He didn't get on the bed. He had to take turns sleeping on the bed. Instead, he hugged a large bundle of hay and ran to the corner of the room. He leaned back and didn't lie down. He was used to it. War was even more difficult than this. No matter what, he could still fall asleep. As for the car, it was taken by Gao Lisher's guards. The next morning Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had a good rest. The rest of them had dark circles under their eyes. He Yiwei's eyes were in a trance. They continued to transplant rice seedlings. After working continuously for 3 days, Zhang Xiaobao was afraid that He Yiwei would suddenly die. He finally ended the official activity in the countryside. He left some money for the people who kept disturbing him, and the group of people went back. He Yiwei had lost weight. It had nothing to do with the food. No matter how good the food was, it could not withstand the daily work. He could not sleep well at night. His face was the most obvious. His eyes were sunken, and there were many wrinkles on his fat face. He sat in the carriage and took off his boots. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were completely fine. They were much more relaxed than when they were in the war. They did not have to worry about the enemy suddenly attacking. During the 3 days they stayed in Shangniu village, they heard about the price of silver rising every day. Compared to the 3 days, the price of silver in Baoxin County increased by 15%. It increased by 5% a day. That was 5%. It was not a small amount. Many people were prepared to go to other counties to exchange for silver to sell. However, they were afraid that if they really went to exchange, the price would be lower. After He Yiwei returned to the bathtub, he fell asleep. He did not wake up until the next morning. Immediately, a servant came to report that someone had brought 2,000 strings of money and wanted to see the master 2 days ago. Yiwei thought that the two people were just joking. He did not expect that they would really come with money. He asked the servant and was told that the deputy county magistrate and the registrar had left early in the morning. He had no choice but to meet them personally. County magistrate, we have brought the money. Can you write a document for us to collect the rice? The two people were very happy to see He Yiwei. The Tang dynasty man asked anxiously. He Yiwei felt that this was not a big deal. He nodded and agreed. He asked the servant to write a certificate for the two people to sign the contract with the people in the county. After this matter was done, the Japanese man said, County magistrate, there is one more thing. We want to buy land in the county. Look, I have brought a map. We want to buy more than 10 pieces of land here and here. We will find people to do the land reclamation. The Japanese man took out a map and pointed on it. He Yiwei recognized that it was a map of the county. To be precise, it was a game map. He asked someone to take a look and found that there were more than 10 pieces of land with trees. Some of them were mountainous. It was not good, so no one wanted to reclaim the land. After checking the book, He Yiwei was very happy. There were more than 10 pieces of land that could not be exchanged for money. It included almost all the land with trees in the county. It was also a merit that someone was willing to buy it and burn it to change it into land. Just as he was thinking about which rules to follow, the Tang dynasty man took action. He put the heavy package in his hand on the desk and said with a smile, County magistrate, you have worked hard. This is a small token of my appreciation. As soon as he put it down, the package opened and revealed the shining silver inside. After a rough calculation, there were about 200 taels of silver. He Yiwei picked up an ingot and looked at it. There was no mark on it. It was not official silver. It was not easy to spend a large sum of money, but if it was broken into pieces, no one would care. It was not a small sum, especially when the price of silver in the county increased. 200 taels of silver could be exchanged for 250 strings of coins in a few days. It is not enough to buy land. I need more money. I can sell the land to you. He Yiwei struggled internally and decided to use the money to buy land. Your Excellency, this money is not used to buy land. I think it's part of buying land. Don't tell me the two of you want to bribe me? He Yiwei's heart ached as he said this. He really wanted to take it, but he didn't dare. He was afraid that he wouldn't be alive to spend it. Not to mention that the Registrar General had the responsibility to monitor and report. Even if he didn't, it would be easy for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to deal with him. If the two of them got hold of something that could be used against him, no one would speak up for him. Everyone was afraid of being implicated. The two of them looked at each other and nodded. The Tang dynasty man said, Your Excellency is indeed a good official. Since that is the case, we will pay for the land. How much more do you need? We will pay for it. Good. That's good. But we will pay according to the official price. Idyll waited for the two of them to send the rest of the money over before handing the deed to them. Seeing the two of them leave happily, he suddenly lost all his strength and sat down on the chair. The dust has settled. I am a good official. I did not accept any bribes today. No, I definitely did not accept any bribes. 200 taels of silver was right in front of me. I did not take it. I am a good official and will be rewarded. Good. That's good. After struggling in his heart, Idyll suddenly felt relaxed as he muttered to himself, "Someone come and brew a pot of tea for me. I will brew the Junshan silver needles that Magistrate Wang had sent over a few days ago." Idyll panted for a while and felt thirsty. He then asked someone to brew tea for him. "Magistrate, he is so refined. You did not touch the money that passed through your hands. Drinking tea to soothe your heart. You are indeed a gentleman." Before the tea arrived, Wang Wan's voice could be heard. Hearing Wang Wan's words, Idyll could not help but tremble. He secretly rejoiced that he had made the choice just now. He did not know how Wang Wan knew. It was too fast. Zhang Xiaobao was also there. He looked at Idyll with a smile. He really admired Idyll's action. It was good that people were afraid of death. Many people did not know how to spell the word, death. They knew that it was easy to be exposed, but they still rushed forward. Idyll had already dared to treat the two of them as two little guys who did not know anything. When he heard Wang Wan's words, he laughed and said, "I am the official of Baoxin County. How can I harm my official affairs for my own personal interests? Have Magistrate Wang and Registrar Zhang been busy? Busy making money. Our family spent a lot of money this time and we have to earn it back. Xiaobao and I are thinking about how to get benefits for ourselves." Wang Wan nodded and replied, "Haha, Magistrate Wang, you must be joking. How can you get benefits for yourselves?" Idyll did not understand what Wang Wan meant. He just said that he would not harm his official affairs for his own personal interests, and she said that they would get benefits for themselves. What did she want to achieve? Wang Wan and Wei shook their heads and said, "Magistrate I am not joking. I really want to get benefits. I came here to discuss with you. Do you have any spare money? If you can take out 500 strings of coins and leave a position for Magistrate then your family can have more income. I think that officials who know how to make money can let the people live a good life. Many officials have no worries at home, so they are not greedy. Xiaobao and I are not greedy. It is not worth it. Our family is rich." Good, that's good. What if your family is greedy? Idyll finally understood what was going on. He did not take out the 200 taels of silver just now. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao were preparing to compensate him. Greedy even when you have money. You peel the skin and stuff the grass. You kill one person for your own greed, and slaughter the whole family for your family's greed. Can Magistrate take out 500 strings of coins? Wang Wan said to Idyll with a sweet smile on her face. Idyll finally felt the mood of the Tubo people. She was indeed a devil. She destroyed a city with a smile and then a country with a smile. She was much more direct than Empress Xiaowu. Thinking that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang's business would involve him, Idyll replied excitedly, Yes, I still have 500 strings of coins. What kind of business is it? Good business. You will know after the spring plowing. Chapter 672. With the dream of getting rich, Idyll happily took out 500 strings of coins and gave it to Wang Wan. He didn't even take out a receipt. He wasn't afraid that Wang Wan would cheat him out of 500 strings of coins. Wang Wan immediately spent the 500 strings of coins. She marked out a place near the county town and asked someone to set up a shelf. The shelf was surrounded by canvas. She also used her identity as an academician of the Jixinjuan Academy to get a lot of books from Luoyang. They were all about the legends of various places. As soon as the books arrived at Baoxin County, she and Zhang Xiaobao went into the mountain of books and started to organize them according to the region. In the end, the two of them didn't want to waste their energy on this kind of thing. so they asked for help from the local people. Anyone with a bit of skill was hired and organized into books for later use. County Deputy Wang, the price of silver is still rising. It's already 30% more than before. I heard that many people are tempted and are preparing to go out to buy silver to sell. Do we need to use administrative intervention? Because Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were busy these days, He Yiwei was in charge of the county's affairs. He Yiwei was in charge of finding new yamen runners, renovating the yamen, handling cases, and so on. He Yiwei was in charge of everything, no matter how big or small. Needless to say, He Yiwei, who had climbed up the ranks bit by bit, was really skilled. In the past, he didn't put his mind on the right path. It would be strange if a person who specialized in using administrative rules to get benefits for himself couldn't do normal things. For the past few days, he had been paying close attention to the rise in the price of silver, and felt that something was amiss. Today it rose again, so he hurriedly ran over to find Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He had a lot of fun talking about administrative interference which he had just learned. Oh, it rose again? County Magistrate economic problems should be solved as much as possible through economic means. If it really doesn't work, administrative means should be used. Otherwise, it can only be said that the government is incompetent in economic matters. The relationship between the two is not that simple. After this matter is settled, I will teach you political economy. You have to learn it well so that you can do big things in the future. When Wang Wan heard He Yiwei's words, she glanced at Zhang Xiaobao. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wei Wei nodded, Wang Wan understood that Zhang Xiaobao found out the purpose of the other party's actions. She felt relieved and told He Yiwei, Good, that's good. I will continue to look. He Yiwei was happy that he had the opportunity to learn new knowledge. He felt that with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in the county, many things would not be the same as before. Every time a new decree was proposed, there would be at least 3 purposes. He was still like a child in front of the two of them and didn't know much. Just as he was about to turn and leave, Zhang Xiaobao suddenly said, County Magistrate go find the owner of the Fengwu Pavilion and ask him to cooperate with the price of silver and increase the price of silver by 10% within 2 days. Then release the goods. That is to take out all the silver stored in the Fengwu Pavilion and sell it to the person who receives the silver. Half of the money earned must be put into the public welfare of Baoxin County, which is to carry out local non-profit construction that doesn't make money. Good, that's good. I understand. Half of the money earned will be taken out for local development that doesn't make money. Should we add a reward mechanism for outstanding local economic and cultural contributions? He Yiwei tried his best to keep up with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's footsteps. The manuscripts written by the two of them were placed on the desk in the hall. He secretly flipped through them to study and carefully pondered the meaning of the words. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and nodded. Yes, we will add an agricultural yield competition first. We will propose a competition between farmland and farmland. When the autumn harvest comes, whichever mu of farmland has the highest yield will be rewarded with the same amount of money. We can pick the top 10 to encourage the farmers to spend time thinking about how to increase their yield and make a conclusion. Good, that's good. I will think about other aspects. For example, craftsmen. Today, our county sent people to participate in the craftsman competition in the capital, but there are no results yet. He Yiwei respectfully agreed and turned around to work. After leaving Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's room, the housekeeper outside had been waiting for a while. After looking around, he finally found the master here. However, he didn't dare to go in, afraid that Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao would find trouble with him. As soon as he saw the master appear, he immediately came over and said, Master, the silver has increased again. Do you want to go to the Fengwu Pavilion to borrow some money first? You can make a lot of money once you change hands. I have already told the second shopkeeper of the Fengwu Pavilion. They haven't made a move yet and are willing to lend us some silver. We can also use copper coins to exchange for it. It's an opportunity, Master. Others haven't found it yet. Good. No, what's good about it? Do you think others are fools? This is why you can only be a housekeeper. Other people can be deputy district magistrates and chief secretaries. The Fengwu Pavilion hasn't made a move yet, because they haven't received the order. Xiao Bao has given the order to make a move. The people of the Fengwu Pavilion are smart and know what to do. He Yiwei suddenly felt that this housekeeper, who was usually good, had become stupid. After scolding him, he walked to the Fengwu Pavilion first. The housekeeper followed behind and was still unwilling to give up. Master, are we not going to make money? Do you want money or your life? He Yiwei asked. The housekeeper didn't dare to say anything else. That day, the silver price in Baoxin County rose again. It was 40% of the previous price, so the cashier had to slow down. The Fengwu Pavilion began to slowly release the goods. Those who had some money couldn't help but go outside to exchange for silver, preparing to come back and sell it. A long time ago there was a big mountain here. It was, Xiaobao changed the word. A long time ago you used it too much. When Zhang Xiaobao was sorting out the legends, Wang Wan interrupted him. Okay, it said that 1800 years ago, a big mountain flew here. Zhang Xiaobao realized his mistake and corrected it. Xiaobao, what do you think the other people who go outside to buy silver should do? They will lose money. The cashier will never allow this to happen. Wang Wan leaned against Zhang Xiaobao and gently ground the ink as she asked. Zhang Xiaobao stopped writing and looked at the door. We can control the economy, but we can't control human nature. They are not kids. They have to bear the consequences of their own actions. Do you think it's so good to have a pie in the sky? Let's wait and see. It will be very interesting. Just as the wind object pavilion slowly released most of the silver, and when the other people who had sold the silver elsewhere returned, the person who received the silver suddenly stopped accepting it. At this time, someone came to the county and wanted to hire a large number of jewelry craftsmen and silver craftsmen. The wage was very high, more than double the usual wage. However, the craftsmen had to be good. They would be evaluated once every month. Only a small number of craftsmen were allowed to stay. If the craftsmen behind them were not good enough, they had to go home. He Yiwei had just received a part of the money earned by the Wind Objects Pavilion, and was preparing to set up a reward system when he received such a piece of news. After considering it for a while, he immediately posted a notice to reward capable craftsmen. As long as they were craftsmen living in Baoxin County, they could compete with each other with their own skills. The good ones would receive additional rewards. There were not many craftsmen in the county. Most of them were farmers. When the craftsmen from other counties heard the news, they all rushed to Baoxin County with their families and prepared to live here. Yiwei was very happy. With a large population, if he rewarded talents in other fields, maybe Baoxin County could be promoted from a middle county to an upper county. The original Sanshui County was only a middle county. After being promoted to an upper county, the glory was more attractive. At the same time, the county magistrate could be put in an important position. He Yiwei, who thought that he had made a great contribution in this matter, did not ask Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan again this time. Instead, he put the reward system in other aspects, such as the breeding of poultry and livestock. He made a reward system for everything related to various industries. The county's finance suddenly fell by a lot, which made him very anxious. However, he considered that as long as he could survive this period, his income would increase in the future, so he gritted his teeth and persevered. Wang Wan saw this clearly and did not ask He Yiwei for help. After all, He Yiwei did not ask for private income for her this time. His little bit of selfishness was nothing more than that he could be promoted and prove himself after being promoted from a middle county to an upper county. Looking at the enthusiasm of the people in the county in a short period of time, Wang Wan finished explaining the content of a place inside. It's too hasty. If he issues more disaster coupons for the people to cash out and continue to invest in development, it will become a child-free economy. Of course, if he has the ability to print money in Baoxin County and let others accept it, he can also transfer the upcoming crisis to everyone. Not to mention that he doesn't know anything. Even if he knows, he still can't control it. That requires the advantage of production technology and military technology to do it. Fortunately, he hasn't thought of that method yet. I want to see how he will solve the financial problem. Does he want to learn from us and use business to lead politics and make long-term investments? Does he have the foundation? Is there a way to generate a return on investment? Zhang Xiaobao smiled when he heard Wang Wan's words. He has good intentions. Fine, let him suffer a bit. We should test the other party's trump card and earn a sum of money from this. The money sent from Luoyang should be arriving soon, right? It's almost here. Li Longji actually interfered and took out 10,000 taels of silver, insisting that we return him 11,000 taels when the time comes. He just has nothing to do. In the end, 2 other princes also invested 5,000 taels of silver each. Our family doesn't lack money, so it's like a fund. It's worrisome, As Wang Wan spoke, she also laughed. It was just a letter to write back and ask her family to mobilize a portion of the money. In the end, everyone knew about it and insisted on interfering. They even asked for a return rate of 10%. If this happened to her, she would definitely be angered to death. Who said that one could only earn and not lose money? What do they know? They only think that they can definitely earn money by giving us the money. Fortunately, they didn't say a return rate of 50%. We can earn less. I estimate that the overall profit range will be 12 to 15%. Now, when he went out and saw the respectful faces of the people, it really warmed his heart. The housekeeper also felt a sense of crisis. He nodded vigorously and agreed. Yes, yes, master. I understand. I will learn more and help master do things. But can the 2 children do anything? Master, I don't know if they have a way. I only know that they can do whatever they want. It's not about whether it's difficult or not. It's about whether they want to do it or not. Otherwise, do you think that General Gao is short of sons and has to acknowledge anyone? He Yiwei really did not know how capable Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were. But he understood that if the 2 of them could not solve a problem, others could not count on them. Just like his family's medical standards, there was a saying that was said by the top people in Day Hospital. If the king of hell wants people to die at midnight, if I say 5, it means 5. When He Yiwei came, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were already not there. The place to put the model had been arranged. Some of the houses had to be demolished, some had to be decorated, and a river had to be diverted to make it convenient for tourists to travel by water. In winter, there was rarely a time when it froze, so water was the main transportation route. After the 2 of them finished whispering, Wang Wan looked up and pretended to have just seen He Yiwei. She asked, County Magistrate He, what brings you here today? Yes, I know that I was wrong. I was too anxious. The Yaman's finances are out of money. He Yiwei lowered his head and said like a child who had made a mistake. Wang Wan was very satisfied with He Yiwei's attitude. Wei Wei nodded. It's good that you know what went wrong. People are not afraid of making mistakes, but they are afraid of making mistakes again and again. Especially when working, if you are wrong, you should admit it. Wang Wan continued to teach He Yiwei more knowledge. Although it was difficult to grasp for officials who were not very capable, the theory was correct. Of course, she and Zhang Xiaobao disdained to do so. He Yiwei did not speak this time. Instead, he found a stool and sat there with his head lowered in contemplation. He wanted to calm himself down. The 3 methods he heard today had shocked him. Except for the second method, he had never heard of the other 2 methods. The local economic construction could be done in this way? No wonder the 2 children were sent here without worry. Their methods were indeed extraordinary. They were teaching him. He had to think carefully and understand and ask the questions that he was not clear about. Wang Wan was not in a hurry. She went to make a pot of tea and gave a big bowl to Zhang Xiaobao herself and He Yiwei. She watched Zhang Xiaobao perfect the plan and seemed very relaxed. After drinking a big bowl of tea, He Yiwei looked up and asked, Is there a 4th method? Yes, I can only give you 4 methods. If you want more, it will depend on whether Xiaobao is willing to open his mouth. If he opens his mouth, I will not be surprised if he says 40 methods. Listen well, the 4th method is to organize the local people and gather all the resources from various industries. You will be the one to negotiate with the merchants from other places. Perhaps there will be greater benefits. This includes selling and buying. If you sell, you will make a little profit. If you buy, you will be able to collect some organization fees. No one will object to this. You will also be able to take out the taxes that you will be able to use. Wang Wan poured another cup of tea for He Yiwei and looked back at Zhang Xiaobao, who was still busy there. He Yiwei took 2 deep breaths. When he looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan again, he did not see 2 ordinary children in his eyes. Instead, he saw 2 little immortals who fell from the sky. From the information he gathered, he knew that Cuckoo's greatest ability was to command the army, and Xiaobao was in charge of the economy. A person who was in charge of war could come up with 4 methods. Then, how capable would the person in charge of the economy be? Perhaps he had not done enough, so Xiaobao was not willing to talk to him. It was not worth it. Seemed that he had to work harder. Good, that's good. Then how many methods should I choose? He Yiwei asked humbly. This time, he did not dare to make a decision on his own. The 3rd method. My family's money will come in soon, but you don't have to give too many preferential policies. My family does not need them. Also watch more. Recently, there will be some small waves in the county. Learn from them. Chapter 674. When He Yiwei returned to his room, he was still in a daze. He couldn't understand why Wang Wan and Xiaobao wanted to help him. Based on their abilities, there was no need for a county magistrate. The county magistrate was just a decoration, but they insisted on pushing him to the front to do things, giving him a good reputation. After he made a mistake, they taught him how to correct it. They were neither relatives nor friends, so there had to be a reason. If he was not convinced and wanted to cause trouble, it was too easy for them to deal with him. They didn't even need to do it themselves. They just needed to watch from the side. However, the 2 didn't do that. They patiently taught him like a teacher who had taken a fancy to a disciple with a bright future. Why? Is it because I'm obedient and easy to control? Who would be disobedient if they taught such skills? And when I came out, Xiaobao looked at me and nodded. Does that mean he approved of me? He Yiwei sat on the chair and began to talk to himself. After being an official for so many years, this was the first time he encountered such a situation. It was very strange. Master, do you have a solution? Why don't you immediately write a memorial to the higher-ups to prevent others from taking the credit? The housekeeper came over at this time. He Yiwei turned his head and looked at the housekeeper. The more he looked at him, the more he found him to be an eyesore. The housekeeper was so scared that he knelt on the ground. He understood his master and was worried that his master would punish him. He Yiwei frowned and sighed. It's different now. Can't you put more effort into thinking about things? What memorial to write? What credit do you want? Do you think everyone is blind? With Xiaobao and Cuckoo here, do you know how many pairs of eyes are watching? If it's done well, it's normal. Who asked Xiaobao and Cuckoo to be so capable? If it's not done well, the first person to investigate is not them but me. They will think, how did I mess up the place where Cuckoo and Xiaobao are? If I really write a memorial to the higher-ups, I will immediately be transferred. The higher-ups will say that I'm capable and transferred to another county to be the county magistrate. If I can't do it, then how do you think the higher-ups will punish me? You want me to steal the credit of General Gao's godson? Not to mention that the idea was indeed someone else's. Even if it wasn't, the credit is still someone else's. Yes, I know I was wrong. I won't mention it again. Master, please don't be angry. Don't hurt your body. The butler was sweating all over. Forget it. I'll ask around in the next few days and see what's going on in the county. You can leave now. He Yiwei really couldn't bear to teach the butler a lesson. The butler was indeed loyal. It was true that he was a little stupid, but there was no need to worry about using him. His stupidity could be learned. Wasn't he learning? It didn't take long. 2 days later, something new happened in the county. The price of silver rose again. Ever since it fell a few days ago, someone who hadn't made a move before finally made a move. Now that the price had increased by 10%, the commoners were more well-behaved. No one wanted to join in the fun. In the past, those who had bought the silver at a high price did not sell it. When they sold it madly, they sold it for 15% more than usual. Now it was not enough. There were also many new craftsmen in the county. They had jewelry at home. They estimated the price. Because they were craftsmen, they didn't need to pay for the work. They took out the jewelry and tried to sell it. Sure enough, they made money. The price had increased, but it didn't exceed 15%. It just hovered around 10%. It made those who went to other places to buy the silver feel itchy. No one knew who came up with the idea first. He said that since other people didn't want to raise the price and still wanted to buy the silver, he should raise the price himself. When other people couldn't buy the silver, he could only raise the price himself. Soon this method was accepted by more and more people. Everyone took out the extra money and collected it at 12%, 13%, and so on. As they collected, they discovered something. The money that they collected at the beginning was 15% higher than usual. After this collection, the overall loss was reduced to 14%. In other words, now that someone was buying the silver at 15% more than usual, once they sold it, they could still make a profit of 10%. However, other people didn't raise the price by 15%. They would buy the silver at the same price as them or even slightly lower. Thus, there was a consequence. Their average cost decreased, but they had more and more goods in their hands. There were so many that their capital chain was about to break. Some people couldn't bear it and let out the silver in their hands bit by bit. They would rather lose 10% of their capital. There were also some people who went outside to look for silver at the usual price. They would buy it and sell it. A low profit was still a profit, even if they had to bear the risk of being robbed. There were also some people who gritted their teeth and refused to sell no matter what. The Fengwu Pavilion was as unmoving as before. Their boss was indeed smart. He didn't discuss it with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan personally, nor did he give them a heads up in advance. However, he knew what to do. He was waiting for Zhang Xiaobao's next order. Just like last time, Zhang Xiaobao didn't say anything, so the Fengwu Pavilion acted as if nothing had happened. After Zhang Xiaobao knew about this, he said to Wang Wan, "The person behind the Fengwu Pavilion isn't an ordinary person. I reckon it's either a prince or a county prince. Anyway, it can't be separated from the imperial family. Otherwise, they wouldn't trust us so much. Since they are giving us a gift, we have to do something to help. Let's wait for another day. If the price is still the same, then we will make a move. I wonder who it is that insisted on coming to Baoxin County to find trouble. Is he tired of living? Could it be that he came specifically for us?" Wang Wan wasn't worried about this at all. Ever since she came here with Zhang Xiaobao, she had asserted that there were no more liars in this world. Even she could see through the tricks of others. Who would want to show off in front of an expert in front of Zhang Xiaobao? That was the ancestor's generation or the grandson's generation. Anyway, it wasn't clear who was the ancestor and who was the grandson. It's about time. There's no hurry. Let's go back to the room and carefully think about the benefits in bed. It's late. Zhang Xiaobao gestured to Wang Wan to sleep with him. Don't make it sound so ambiguous. You are really something. Last time I said we were going to separate, but you still want to sleep with me. Wang Wan glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and went to the bedroom with him. You are the one who is not obedient when you sleep. You treat me as a pillow, okay? You have to be reasonable. Don't you want to take a bath? I don't want to take a bath with you. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. It's not like that. In fact, I have always treated you as a man. Or no need to explain. Separate. We must live separately today. He also discovered this matter. But he couldn't understand it no matter how hard he thought. He was very puzzled. What were those people playing at? It was rising and falling. He wanted to find Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, but seeing that it was dark, he couldn't disturb them. He could only suppress the thoughts in his heart. The housekeeper was careful this time. He came over and asked, "Master, do you have to think of something? Tomorrow morning go and ask Xiaobao and Cuckoo. I think this matter is not simple, but I can't figure it out. I have to learn." Good. That's good. He was very satisfied with the housekeeper's change. He then said, "Remember this matter clearly. When I am done asking, I will tell you when I come back. I don't want to miss the key points. I think someone is playing an economic war with us. Do you know who Zhang Xiaobao is? Watch the show." "Master, you are right. Xiao Bao is an expert. Do you need to remind him? So as to avoid being caught unprepared. The housekeeper echoed. Remind who? He already knows. If you remind him, it will be too late. Don't always think blindly. Learn more and ask more. Teach your son. In the future, he may be a capable person. He Yiwei was not in a hurry to remind him. A few days ago, Wang Wan told him to pay attention. How could he not know? He comforted the housekeeper again. The housekeeper was happy. His son would probably have an arrangement in the future. It was a good thing. Early the next morning, a bank suddenly appeared in the county. The words were posted outside. The meaning of the post was that Tang Bank was newly opened. It could be exchanged for gold and silver, and it could also be used as collateral. It was just that the collateral was slightly lower. The so-called slightly lower was in terms of the normal exchange of money, but it was much higher than the pawnshop. The profit was also a little higher. Some people regretted it. In order to raise money and raise the silver price, they had pawned the things at home. Now that a bank had appeared, they couldn't climb up. Some people who had a lot of money were happy. If they sent one tael of silver to the bank as collateral, they could get 800 copper coins. After half a month, the interest would only be 100 copper coins. With living money, they could continue to raise the silver price. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan woke up early in the morning and heard about this matter. Xiaobao, they've started. It's our turn now. Do we need the wind object pavilion to help? Wang Wan finished brushing her teeth and asked as if she had not woken up yet. Ha! No need for now. Zhang Xiaobao was infected and yawned. We can also open a bank and lend one tael to 1,000 copper coins. Those people are not prepared to exchange one tael for 1,000 copper coins. They will lose money. They just want living money. If the silver price is too high, everyone can play together. I didn't expect that there would be smart people who set up a bank. Before noon, a new bank was opened in Baoxin County, and the price was much higher. Those who hadn't gone to Tang Bank to borrow money immediately went to the new bank. Release the goods. 1,000 taels of silver. 1,100 copper coins. After 15 minutes, release 2,000 taels of silver. After another 15 minutes, release 5,000 taels of silver. Tell Fengwu Pavilion to prepare to receive the goods. They will receive the goods at 1,050 copper coins. At least 20,000 taels of silver will be eaten. Zhang Xiaobao opened today's legendary story and instructed the people in the inner courtyard. There were no electronic transactions or paper transactions here. Everything was sold by shouting. The inner courtyard of the Zhang and Wang families took out the silver and stood on the street shouting. However, the price they offered was too frightening. The local people who wanted to increase the price of the silver didn't believe it at all. As a result, they hesitated. Things were just that interesting. Once such a price was put out, someone immediately came over to take it away with Beijing's flying money. Zhang Xiaobao continued to put in the goods, and the other party continued to eat. He actually managed to maintain the price within a certain range. Release the goods. 5,000 taels of silver. Release it twice. The price is 1,120 copper coins. After that, release 20,000 taels of silver. Let Fengwu Pavilion eat it. If they can't eat it, they can come and get the money. Zhang Xiaobao ordered again. Wang Wan stopped writing at the side and just looked at Zhang Xiaobao. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao was the most handsome. 2 hands of 5,000 taels of silver were released. Another hand of 20,000 taels of silver was released. The other party couldn't eat it. Although the price was very low, only 1,050 copper coins, the other party was obviously not prepared and didn't eat it. Fengwu Pavilion finally showed its strength today. They swallowed 20,000 taels of silver without hesitation. They didn't even send someone to negotiate with Zhang Xiaobao. County Magistrate He, can you see it? This money is coming for us. Otherwise, who can spend so much money in a small county? And Fengwu Pavilion, do you know how powerful they are? Wang Wan said to He Yiwei, who was standing motionlessly at the side. I know. They accepted 20,000 taels of silver just like that. Fengwu Pavilion's backer is not simple. Didn't we make a profit? He Yiwei nodded. How much did we make? No matter what, we have to get all of the other parties' money. I reckon that Tang Bank will raise the price soon. If they raise it, we will raise it. When they raise it, we will raise it. When they raise it for 1,200 copper coins, we will not care anymore. We will release all the goods. We will lend you some of the money we earned first. You can use it to go through the administrative process. This time, without Zhang Xiaobao saying anything, Wang Wan understood what to do next. Sure enough, every hour Tang Bank would raise the price. All of a sudden, it raised the price to 1,100 copper coins. County Magistrate Wang, why are you in such a hurry? Can't you drag it a little longer? He Yiwei didn't understand and asked. If we drag it any longer, the money from outside will come in. Everyone can't afford it, so we want to get a result in a short time to avoid being taken advantage of by outsiders. Tomorrow the dust will settle. Wang Wan replied. Raise the price, our bank will raise the price by 1,150 copper coins, but we must increase the interest. The amount of interest will be calculated as 1,000 copper coins for 1 tael of silver. We will release 10,000 taels of silver. The price is 1,250 copper coins. We ask the other party to accept it all at once. After a quarter of an hour, we will release another 20,000 taels of silver. The last 10,000 taels of silver will remain unchanged. Zhang Xiaobao immediately issued a new order when Tang Bank just raised the price. Chaos, the entire Baoxing County was in chaos. Everyone came to watch the show. The people had faintly felt that things were not so simple. With the rise and fall of the silver price, everyone was staring at it. After Zhang Xiaobao's bank raised the price, Tang Bank also increased the money to 1,250 copper coins, but the interest was very small. As a result, after deducting the interest, 1 tael of silver from Tang Bank became 1,050 copper coins. Zhang Xiaobao's goods were immediately swallowed up. Stop the delivery of goods. Throw all the money that the other people in the bank used as collateral to Tang Bank. This bank will no longer accept loans. Tomorrow morning, throw out 10,000 taels of silver for 1,300 copper coins. Tell Fengwu Pavilion to deliver the goods for 1,280 copper coins, all at once. Zhang Xiaobao sent out another order. A stormy day passed just like that. Early the next morning, Zhang Xiaobao put out a high price of 10,000 taels of silver. Fengwu Pavilion also didn't lower the price. They actually put out 53,000 taels of silver. 40,000 taels of the 53,000 taels were immediately eaten up. The remaining 13,000 taels were not touched by anyone. Tell Fengwu Pavilion to take the 13,000 taels to Tang Bank. Our 10,000 taels will be reduced to 1,100 copper coins. Deliver the goods. Once Zhang Xiaobao gave the order, all the silver was sold. Just as he had estimated, every 2 taels was exchanged for more than 1,150 copper coins. Wang Wan asked He Yiwei, who was still obediently standing at the side today. He Yiwei shook his head. The other party wants to raise the price of the silver, which means that they have a large amount of money coming over. They want to make a profit from it or affect other aspects. Unfortunately, the other party looked at this kind of financial operation too simply, so they suffered a big loss. Even the rich people in the county who joined in also suffered a loss. If this kind of method doesn't have any other supplementary actions, it is really too inferior. Can't even compare to half of that person from Tubo in the sword school. We are now looking forward to his follow-up actions. But no matter what, this battle is a loss for him. Be prepared, the real storm is coming. Wang Wan could also understand what had happened during this short exchange, so she explained to He Yiwei. Chapter 675. In He Yiwei's eyes, the shocking currency war in Baoxing County was over, at least for the time being. He sent people to surround Wantong Private Bank to prevent the people inside from escaping. It was fine if people ran away, but the money must be left behind. For Zhang Xiaobao's private bank, it was legal and did not check. There was no need to worry that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family could not afford it. Besides, nothing bad would happen. The private bank used other people's money as collateral and could not be redeemed. Of course, other people did not pay for the collateral. The real loss was the high price of silver used to buy the collateral. It was estimated that the local people would lose half of the money, and the other half would be the people who came to find trouble. It's really dangerous. After He Yiwei left Zhang Xiaobao in Wang Wan's room, he wiped the sweat on his forehead and found that his clothes were wet. After 2 consecutive days of fighting, Zhang Xiaobao had tricked the other party into joining him as if he was playing around. That person's character and timing were too accurate. According to Zhang Xiaobao, this time they could earn 1 tael of silver and more than 150 copper coins. How much money did his family invest? How much did they invest in total? In nervousness, He Yiwei, who forgot to calculate, asked the housekeeper who was watching the war with him. 80,000 taels of silver and copper coins. 80,000 taels of silver and copper coins. Oh my God, so much money has been mobilized in Azhong County to fight a war. Crazy, everyone is crazy. How many years of taxes would it take to make so much money? The housekeeper remembered how much money Zhang Xiaobao used. Thinking about the experience of the past 2 days, he felt that it was not money but just a number. Have you seen it? This is an economic war, a part of economic war, also called a currency war. So they earned more than 12,000 strings of coins? Money came too easily. If they want money, they just have to fight a few battles. He Yiwei rejoiced in his heart. Xiaobao and Cuckoo were in the county and were prepared. No wonder they were not in a hurry. He could not afford to play. It was too scary. Why did they do that? It was a mess, but he had indeed won. He had won in a daze. The butler was also thinking about earning money. This was a battle with others. If there was no match, would he be able to earn a lot of money by doing this at a certain place? Thinking of this, he asked Old Master, "Do you think this is how they get their money?" "Don't speak nonsense. Their family usually makes money through business, the kind with shops. If they really did that, wouldn't the great Tang fall into chaos?" "Master, I must learn it. It's really amazing." He Yiwei finally found his goal, and that was to learn the knowledge within. The butler also didn't understand what was going on. He still had doubts. "Master, didn't you say that there is something called a lever? You can spend very little money to do very big things, right? Why don't they use leverage instead of money? You didn't bring it, right? The lever is very heavy. Let's go and keep an eye on Wantong Native Bank. Don't even think about transporting a single copper coin out. Let's settle the account first." He Yiwei didn't know about this. After saying this, he returned to his courtyard to rest. The butler promised, "Rest assured, Old Master. We'll definitely keep an eye on them. The lever is probably not light. 2 children won't be able to carry it." In the room, Wang Wan was still calculating how much they had earned. She asked Zhang Xiaobao, "How do you feel? Are you very excited?" "More than 10,000 strings of money. Why would I be excited? It's not like we've hurt their bones. The Fengwu Pavilion can also earn more than 2,000 strings of money. Write a letter to the capital and have the Savants Pavilion send 1,000 strings of money to Lilongji. Also, the 2 princes will each receive 500 strings of money. So easy for them to earn money. What's the excuse?" Zhang Xiaobao grumbled. In truth, he knew that the other party didn't care about this bit of money. It was just to get closer to them. Sending 2,000 strings of money was a return of attitude. More importantly, it was to tell them that they had won this battle so that their cheap godfather wouldn't think about it. Wang Wan asked Zhang Xiaobao to write a letter and sent it over with a pigeon from the capital. Wantong Money House didn't run away. Zhang Xiaobao went over to settle the bill and signed a contract with the Fengwu Pavilion to sell MSG to them in the future. The Fengwu Pavilion actually had MSG, but where it came from and how high the cost was unknown. Probably couldn't be cheap. They could continue to help, so they didn't want to be underpaid. After a smoke-free war, Baoxing County calmed down again. The people didn't care much about it. Only the gossip spread again. Someone came to provoke them and was dealt with by Registrar Zhang. They earned a huge sum of money. It was estimated to be more than 1 million strings of money, or 2 million strings of money. The capital received an order to take out 1,000 strings of money, 40% of which was silk. The Savants Pavilion sent someone to deliver it to the outside of the palace. They also gave the gatekeeper some benefits and reported it to Gao Lisher. Gao Lisher hurried out and asked the person who sent the money, Did my son earn it in Baoxing County? In reply to the great general it was. The young master also said that there was a lot of silver jewelry. He said that he would personally send it to his father. Here is 1,000 strings of money and silk. Please check it and reply to a note. The person who sent the money wasn't nervous at all. Gao Lishur was now considered family. He asked someone to spread out the table and the 4 treasures of the study. At the same time, he gestured for someone to bring a few boxes of food forward. Great General, the young lady wrote 2 new dishes in the letter. Let's make them for the Great General to try. Remember, get someone to test the poison first. Well, said he, there's no need to count. I'll write it now. My son Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are considerate. And it smells good. Gao Lishur lied with a glare. In order to keep the food warm, the lid was tight. It would be strange if they could smell it. 1,000 strings of money wasn't a lot, but Gao Lishur was happy. It meant that Xiao Bao and his son had won. As for what tricks they used, there was no need to think about it. Gao Lishur asked someone to bring the money directly to Xingqing Palace. He piled the money there and showed it to Li Longji without saying anything. It meant that his son had won. This reminded Li Longji of his own son Li Yi, who had died prematurely. A trace of sadness flashed through his heart. At the same time he envied Gao Lishur. However, he knew that he couldn't acknowledge Xiao Bao as his son. Otherwise, how would he inherit the throne? Who could suppress Xiao Bao if he had a son? Lishur, with Xiao Bao in charge, there's no need to worry about economic turmoil. Send the money to the rear and write a decree. The land that Zhang family and Wang family wanted is not in either of the 2 places. Put it in Fengzhou. But you have to make it clear first. You can raise horses, but you can't sell them to other countries. If you lack money for war, I understand. I think the Zhang family and Wang family also understand. Gao Lishur didn't wait for Li Longji to finish his words. Li Longji nodded and let Gao Lishur do his work. Gao Lishur went to the harem and sent out the 1,000 strings of money. When he came back, he also brought a letter from Empress Wang. It was written for Wang Wan. It was about the war. Li Longji read it twice and sent it to Baoxing County along with his decree. In Baoxing County, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were still waiting for the other party's next move. However, the other party was not in a hurry. It was unknown whether it was because they were cautious after suffering a loss, or because they didn't make proper arrangements. Xiao Bao, Li Longji really did put the land that he gave us in Fengzhou. Now that we have a place to raise horses, send Zhang Ying and Zhang Lang over with their subordinates. Also, get some veterinarians and take good care of them. How can we fight without cavalry? Otherwise, why would we develop mechanized troops? In the war in North Korea, our army was defeated by the magnetic tactics of the U.S. motorized troops. There's also a letter from Empress Wang. Oh, she asked me about the marching formation of the army. Unfortunately, it's easy to seize a city, but difficult to mobilize a harem. Wang Wan read the letter and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "What do you mean by difficult to mobilize a harem? Who's Empress Wang?" Zhang Xiaobao asked in confusion. A very stupid woman. In the end, she died and was banished to the cold palace. So many maids in the palace treated her well. It's a pity. Wang Wan said with a sigh. Stupid? Yes, very, very stupid. You wouldn't understand even if I told you. This stupid woman was the one who helped Li Longji seize the throne, and the one who plotted against Princess Taiping. Do you understand? Wang Wan said 2 things. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. I don't know. How can someone who can plan 2 coups in a row be stupid? It's just a favor. Li Longji had other people plotting against him. She just stood firmly behind Li Longji and never hesitated. Even when faced with the danger of her family being exterminated, she didn't know how to play the 4 arts. She also didn't know much about politics. To be precise, she didn't have the intelligence and beauty. She was schemed against by that woman surnamed Wu. Wang Wan knew that Zhang Xiaobao didn't know about this, so she explained. Zhang Xiaobao was still confused. That woman surnamed Wu? Who's that? Wu Zetian's descendant. She's related to Li Longji. I don't like her. Of course, I've never seen her before. I only know about her from books. Wang Wan couldn't help but admire Wu Zetian. It was fine if she was powerful, but her descendant was also not bad. Could it really be related to genes? I've never seen her before either. The problem is, isn't Empress Wang still alive? Zhang Xiaobao finally understood. In the struggle for power in the harem, Wang Wan directly stood on one side emotionally. Soon. I reckon it won't be long before she's banished to the cold palace. Wang Wan pouted. Is 300,000 strings of strings enough? Let's buy her and make you happy. It's not like it hasn't happened yet. It's like a plague of locusts. We'll send chickens to eat it. This was the second time Zhang Xiaobao saw Wang Wan being sentimental. The first time was when she said that one of the two was missing. Zhang Xiaobao didn't think that there was anything that couldn't be changed. Hearing Zhang Xiaobao mention chickens eating locusts, Wang Wan was indeed happy. That's right. If I want her to live, she has to live. Do you support me? I support you. He can make a beauty smile and play with the warlords. He can kill his adoptive father for the sake of the beauty. He can lead the Qing army to the pass for the sake of the beauty. Tell me, do you want to kill Li Longji? Can't we just blow him up? Zhang Xiaobao patted his chest and promised. Wang Wan burst out laughing. It's not like what you're saying. According to what you're saying, women are really a source of trouble. Shaoli can't die unless you become the emperor. Looking at how sloppy you are, I know it won't be possible. It's easy to save someone. Let Empress Wang go to Yaowang Mountain to recuperate, make her skin more delicate, and arrange for someone to teach her. Chapter 676. The spring breeze turned the weeping willows green. Birds perched on the branches and fish swam gently in the water. Baoxin County, which had temporarily calmed down, continued to live as usual. The only difference was that there was no need to fight for water this year. No one would get hurt and there was no need to hope for rain. As long as there was water in the well, there would be no shortage of water in the fields. They were willing to be tired from carrying water. On this day, a group of more than 60 people came from the northwest of Baoxin County. There were 3 large carriages carrying people and more than 10 carriages carrying goods. When the group saw Baoxin County, they stopped. An old man came down from each of the 3 carriages. One had his hands behind his back, one was stroking his beard, and the other was gnawing on a large meat pancake. A group of children from the nearby villages gathered around curiously. They were not afraid of strangers and just watched. The children standing in the cold river also stopped. Yuanji, why are the clothes of the children here better than those in Ruyang? That is an important and bustling place. The old man with his hands behind his back said to the old man stroking his beard. That's right. Not only are their clothes nice, but their faces are also rosy. If it weren't for the rustic air between their eyebrows, no one would suspect that they were children from the capital. Old Man Yao evaluated as he sized up the children who were crowding around to look at the spectacle. Old Man Chong swallowed the meat pancake in his mouth and burped twice. He said, that goes without saying. Look at who is the official here. Capable people are capable no matter where they are. There is no lower county around Luoyang. If there is a lower county, these 2 little guys will go there. Incompetent officials want to find a good place to take advantage of others. Capable people go to places that others don't think are good. What are you fishing for, little girl in the river? This old man will exchange meat pancakes with you. In the river, there was a girl holding a small net made of straw rope. She lifted the net and replied in a crisp voice, Old Grandpa Xiang'er is fishing for river snails. I want to exchange them for money to buy chickens for Mother to nourish her body. Mother has just recovered from a long illness and is weak. Oh, can river snails be eaten at this time? Old Man Chong was not ignorant. The river snails did not seem to have much meat. Yes, they can. The biggest restaurant in the county, the Fengwu Pavilion, has a special dish called river snail soup. Grandpa, are you passing by? If you enter the county, you can't ride your horse. You'll be punished. Xiang said as she walked out of the water. She took out a shell from her bosom, opened it and rubbed it with a finger. Then she rubbed the shell on the back of her hand until it was warm. Only then did she look at the team carefully with a smile. As soon as the 3 old men saw the shell, They knew what it was. It was the Zhang family's signature product, hand oil. The price of this thing was not low after it was shipped over. A shell would cost at least 10 copper coins. How could the little girl afford it? When he took a closer look at the texture of the shell, he was even more surprised. It turned out to be the coconut oil series. That was not something that could be bought with 10 copper coins. Where did the little girl get it? Old Man Pai asked curiously, Xiang, where did the shell come from? My sister gave it to me. Let me tell you, don't even think about stealing my hand oil. My sister is the deputy county magistrate, a very high official. Xiang cautiously took a step back and warned them. A 9th-ranked deputy county magistrate is also a very high official? Who told you that, Xiang? Old Man Yao jokingly laughed. Yes, she is a high official. How dare you provoke my sister? Xiang was unhappy when she heard that her sister was a low official. The 3 old men shook their heads at the same time. Old Man Chong shook his head the most vigorously. No, 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 who dares to provoke that little girl will die. Even if she doesn't use force, she will pester people to death. How did Xiang get to know the deputy county magistrate? I got to know her the day she came. She even asked people to send medicine to my mother. My mother's illness was finally cured. My sister and brother are both very good people. Old Grandpa, do you know my sister? Xiang heard that the 3 old men's tone was very peaceful. They didn't sound like bad people, so she moved forward. Suddenly, she thought of something and asked, Are you Grandpa by Grandpa Zhang and Grandpa Yao? My sister told me that there are 3 old men and they are very fun. What kind of fun? Old Man Pai didn't expect that in Cuckoo's heart. The 3 of them were fun. It's fun. She said that the 3 of you are very capable and always act like children. It seems that it's true. Big brother, second brother, come back after catching the toads. We have guests. The one who keeps stroking his beard must be Grandpa Yao. Xiang will treat you to braised toads. Xiang judged that the 3 old men were the old urchins that her sister had mentioned. She shouted at her 2 brothers who were catching toads in the field. Are you really treating us to food? Old Man Yao put down his hand and stopped stroking his beard. Of course. The guests of the Deputy County Magistrate and the Registrar General are the guests of our county. The enemies of the Deputy County Magistrate and the Registrar General are the enemies of our county. Xiang replied seriously. Old Man Chong waved his hand. No, no, there are too many people. There are not enough toads to share. We will walk forward. Xiang, would you like to talk with us? When the 3 old men heard Xiang words, they suddenly laughed. That's right. It truly is because His Majesty saw that you weren't doing well, so he sent the 2 most formidable men of the great Tang over. This formidable does not mean that the other is formidable. It means that they are capable. Of course, they are capable of dealing with their own people, but they are truly formidable when dealing with people from other countries. Old Man Pai said with emotion. He had to admit that it was indeed a blessing to have 2 little guys in a place. With them in charge, the imperial court could be very assured. They did not have to worry about the people living a bad life, and they did not have to worry about the army of some country suddenly attacking. The imperial court was now discussing the issue of Baoxin County being changed from a middle county to a county, because Xiaobao and Cuckoo came to be officials. Xiang did not know so much. After hearing Old Man Pai's words, she asked, Sister and brother are very capable? More capable than the Prime Minister? Capable? What is the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister is also changed every few years. He has to act according to His Majesty's mood. These 2 can't be changed. His Majesty only has one kind of expression for them, and that is a smiling face. Old Man Yao finally realized the gap between him and the 2 little guys. How do you know that the Prime Minister is not as good as my brother and sister? But I think so too. Xiang shook her head and said, I'm just guessing. When I have the chance, I'll ask Zhang Shu if he dares to fight for power with your brother and sister. He dares to fight with others and he even won. Let's see if he has the guts to play tricks with your brother and sister. Old Man Yao curled his lips and said very confidently, Is that so? Is Zhang Shu the Prime Minister? He's called the head of the Secretariat? I heard from my sister that he's also a very interesting old man. Xiang'er liked it when people praised her brother and sister. Seeing that there was still red water on the small table in the carriage, she poured herself a cup, raised her head, and drank it. She smacked her lips and said, "It's sweet and sour. Tastes like grapes. When I drink it, my stomach will feel warm." When Old Man Chong saw that the little girl drank a large cup of wine, he quickly made space for her and took out a blanket. When the little girl had a place to sleep, he covered her with it. Sure enough, Xiang'er fell asleep after a while. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.